pull up a chair. This is Off the Back Porch. Off the Back Porch with Sandy and Boomer is brought to you in part by Country Village Sporting Goods. Everything you need to get in the woods, the water, or to the camp is at Country Village Sporting Goods. Jason Hardy State Farm. Like a good neighbor, Jason Hardy at State Farm is there. And Larry's Pizza in El Dorado, home of the Double Pizza Parade.
20 plus years of bringing you the most important and latest information with local happenings, news, sports, opinions, and probably an attempt at humor. Also brought to you in part by Davis Farms Country Market. For farm to table fresh, it's Davis Farms Country Market. Cook's Body Shop. Chances are it will happen. And when it does, look to Cook's. Murphy Arts District. For the latest information on concerts and events, go to eldomad.com.
Recorded live from Main Street Pizza in historic, beautiful downtown El Dorado, Arkansas. With a history of being the voices you trust. This is Off the Back Porch with Boomer and Sandy. Or Sandy and Boomer. Or two old guys you've known for a long time, whatever. And now your hosts, Troy, Boomer, Barrios, and B.A. Sandy Sanford.
Thank you, Johnny Dean, and welcome to another edition of Off the Back Porch with Sandy and Boomer. And Boomer, here we are at our favorite place, and that's Main Street Pizza. But today,
yes,
we did not get pizza.
We got sandwiches.
Yes.
And I'm holding the burp in because mine was really good.
Now, you got the Wildcat chicken?
Wildcat chicken.
Mm-hmm.
That was invented here.
Yes.
Yeah, the sauce and everything on it is, and there's peppers on it, and it's very good.
And I got the Reuben.
Uh-huh.
Very good.
Well, you said that. It tastes very nice.
Yeah.
I've just never much liked the Reuben. But if they're good, then they're good.
I had never had one until I was probably in my late teens, maybe early 20s. And I was dating this girl, and her mom made
Reubens. She had Reuben on her breath when you kissed her.
That's what it was, yeah. No, her mom made Reubens, and man, I'm just telling you, I fell in love with the taste and all that. And
what is it? Is it sauerkraut?
Yeah, there's a little sauerkraut on there.
What's the meat?
Corned beef.
Yeah.
Yeah, corned beef.
Two strikes.
Oh, you don't like corned beef either?
Not much.
You're kind of a diva, aren't you? But never mind, we've known this.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I will still eat chicken salad on a croissant, and y'all made fun of me over in Magnolia, you and Steve Harrell.
A whole bunch of us made fun of you.
Yeah, well, go ahead.
We had a sales contest, or not contest, but a goal. I told everybody, you reach your goal, I'll take us all over to, at that time, I think it was called the Mule Kick. I don't know.
Mule Kick was right on the corner.
Yeah, right there on the corner on the square in Magnolia. So I took them over there, and I said, guys, order whatever you want. It's on me. And you had people ordering steaks, had people ordering chicken fried steak, and Boomer's dainty selves like, I would like...
Now, I didn't say it like that.
I would like a super gay croissant. Croissant. I think you said it like that. Croissant. With a dainty amount of chicken salad, please.
And some chips.
Yeah.
I didn't say it like that.
Well, that's what it sounded like. That's what it sounded like. You know, we're all very, give me beef. Wipe its butt and throw it on the plate.
Now, Lance knows what a good chicken salad sandwich tastes like.
Yeah, and that one was actually pretty good. Because I got it not too long after that.
Oh, but by yourself, though.
Yes. Because I know what it looked like.
To go with a bag at the back door.
Yeah.
See, after you made fun of me.
Well, anyway. When has me making fun of you ever stopped me from
making fun of me?
From making fun of you. Yeah, right. Yeah. He got the Wildcat chicken sandwich. I got the Reuben.
Yeah. JW got crackers.
You know. Oh, well, he said he had a protein shake before this. You remember last week when I told you I really didn't like him a whole lot?
It goes further.
It just keeps building.
Well, you know, he walks up and it looks like he's poking out his chest, but he's not.
He's not.
Yes.
But it looks like he is.
I was 22 once, but I didn't look like that.
He's not 22.
What is he?
No, he's not. You're not going to be in the draft. I promise you. He's older than my oldest child. She's 31.
He said he's 22.
I know what he said.
Well, he's being untruthful.
Yes. He's vain. Almost as vain as you, but he's vain. You're not vain, though. You're really not.
Convinced, baby.
Yeah. Assured.
So Lance Greer is with us today.
Yeah, that's right. Lance is our special guest this week, and we're sitting here talking food, and I feel like an idiot talking food in front of a guy who has a culinary arts degree.
Lance knows what a chicken salad tastes like.
Yeah.
A good one.
So you're gonna have to lean up to that mic, because as much as you think you're loud, you're not.
Well, as long as you don't get the hunch in my back, we're good.
No, you're good. You're good. But again, Lance, thank you. And honest to goodness, I dropped him on him last second. We had a guest who was scheduled for today, had something come up last night that couldn't be helped.
Okay.
And I called Lance and said, "Hey, man, can you come?" And he's like, "Absolutely.
Come help a brother out."
Yeah. He said, 10, 15 minutes? I said, "Sure."
4 hours.
Yeah. Sure, whatever you think, yeah. But Lance, and we'll talk about this in a moment, but Lance has recently purchased a local business and is doing some renovations to it currently, and then going to be opening up. And what business is that?
So me and my wife bought the old House of Wylie, and it's going to be called the Refinery. And we're cleaning it, renovating it, getting all the patches fixed up, and we are going to be ready to roll.
I'm excited. I'm very excited.
Are y'all going to put a full kitchen in?
That's down the road.
Yeah.
But for now, we're going to keep it kind of the same concept.
Same concept they had.
But, a lot fresher, different combos, things you can't really find around here.
Okay.
with classics. You got to have the classics.
Yeah,
I got you.
Yeah, you got to have the BLT. The BLT to me over there was always real good. I like the BLT.
Yeah, we'll have beer and wine back. Redid the patio.
Okay.
So we got all new furniture there. Getting the rail put back up.
When I called him earlier, he said, "Yeah, I'm putting together a table right now, so anything to get me out of this."
Yeah.
Well, that's great.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It looks fantastic already. So we are really excited.
And of course, our audience probably knows, but we called Lance's name for a lot of years on Friday nights.
Yeah, they understand the name Lance Greer. So where do I know him from?
Yeah,
and they see him.
And oh yeah, I remember now.
Lance Greer.
Yeah, but Lance is also a declared candidate and received his party's nomination for city council.
City council, yeah.
Ward 2, position 1, and
that's
it was Vance Williamson
who has resigned. He's moved out of that ward,
and so he's announced for that position. And like I said, received his party's nomination, and so he has an election coming up, and we'll talk to him about that some as well. But the biggest thing to me is, and one of the biggest reasons I wanted him here, this is what we need. We need the 30-something-year-olds who either have moved away to come back, and that experience they gained elsewhere, bring that experience back with you.
Them.
Or if you're looking to invest, Alan Tyson, you're looking to invest, come back and get one of our local businesses that probably would just shutter. I mean, that's what was going to happen with Timberlane Meat Market. It was just going to close the doors. And Alan was like, "Oh no, it's not." So we need that. We need these 30-somethings coming back. That class of El Dorado High School and Parker's Chapel Junction, all those from about 07 to about 17. We need them all coming back and bringing their expertise, bringing their
children.
Their children.
We need them for the schools.
Because here's the honest to goodness thing is, Lance is going to be one of the least users of city services, meaning he's rarely going to need police. He's rarely going to need fire. He's rarely going to need EMS. He's going to use water and sewage and trash pickup, which he'll pay for those. And he will contribute more than he ever extracts from the system. What we don't need are people who's constantly needing the police, constantly needing fire, constantly needing EMS, and then don't pay their water bill. We don't, those are the people who take the most of your services. So you need the younger people who come back because they are the least users of your services.
Yeah.
And I mean, any city that is going to experience even a stale growth or even a minimal growth, you have to have that age group coming back.
Got to be coming back. And as far as insurance, since I think about that, Married with Two, that's the wheelhouse. Their rates are a lot less than under 25 single guy.
Oh no!
I remember those days.
We all do.
So or an older 75. Your rates go back up as you get older. So, everything is, you're in the wheelhouse when you're in your 30s. just a great time of life.
It is.
You don't realize it.
No, you don't.
Because you're not struggling. You're trying to make your way, and we want to encourage those.
You still have the energy and the desire to do it.
Yeah. Some days.
Some days. And but you know, if you could take that energy and desire when you're 32 and put it into your body when you're 60, whoo, man,
what could we do?
We could accomplish stuff, right? You know, now I'm 54, but you know, there's recently someone commented on some stuff we had online, and they took a couple of shots at me, and someone asked me, said, "Man, you don't let that bother you?" I said, "No, I don't, and here's why: I don't care what they think. I really do not care what that person thinks.
That particular person,
yeah,
or anybody.
Well, most people. Now, I do care what you think, for the most part.
Except when I said I didn't want to have to talk to him for an hour.
Yeah. Well, I really cared when you said that. Hurt my feelings.
Hey, just so you know, when you talk to somebody and you think you hung up, really check that before you say.
Yeah.
Before you say something disparaging about them.
My day job, I have to do that because we have customers, and you know, if they make you mad, you don't want them to hear the after.
Listen, I've had it happen to me before where I'd be on the phone with somebody and they're like, all right, fine, I'm going to let you go. Asshole. Before they actually hang up, I'm like, yeah, well, I wear it proudly, you know. So
a badge of honor.
Yeah, no, kind of.
Well, kind of a badge.
Yeah. But I don't care what that person thinks. They don't affect me.
Okay.
And that's something I wish I had done in my 30s. I wish I could not care. Now, the one thing that I would do back then, of course, you know, I was always a topic on Topics. Remember Topics? Or that radio messaging board that was Southwest Arkansas Radio or whatever it was called.
I forgot about Topics. Oh, my Lord.
And, you know, you and I both got hammered on there several times, but I cared what people said, and I just wish now I didn't.
Yeah.
But here's what I would never do. I would always reply, my username would be my name.
Yeah.
I want you to know this was me that said this.
Yeah, mine was Boomer.
I want you to know this was Boomer. And but I wish I wouldn't have cared back then. Because those people didn't matter.
Yeah.
They still don't matter.
Yeah.
And here we are 20-something years later, those people still don't matter. Yeah. So that means they didn't matter back then either.
You got to care what people think. Just, you got to...
I mean, I don't want to be an embarrassment to my wife or my kids. I don't want to be an embarrassment to my friends. I don't, what I don't want is I don't want people talking about me the way I hear them talk about some other, that's just so-and-so. That's just how he is.
So I had one of mine say, I said, you need to think about, she said, well, what are you worried about? What's people going to think about you? I said, no, I'm worried what they're going to think about you. And how that's going to affect your children in school.
Remember this. Your dad is the only person in your life, generally, who wants you to do better than he did.
Oh, yeah.
Generally speaking.
Yeah.
Now, there's some crappy dads out there, but those aren't dads. Those are sperm donors.
Yeah.
But your dad is generally the one person who wants you to achieve and be more successful than he ever was.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times it's not, no, I'm not worried about what they think about me.
Yeah, I got you.
I'm trying to help you.
Yeah.
I'm trying to help you be better.
So, Lance, there's something about me that I'm going to tell you right now is that when I think of something, I got to say it.
Yeah.
And they're always saying I'm, Boomer just jumps off subject. Do you own the building?
No, we leased the building.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were renting the space.
Okay. I didn't know if that was...
Don't tap that.
I thought... I didn't know if that was that they owned that building or not, so, yeah.
No, we did, ask for a clause that if they ever do decide to sell, that we would have the first right to buy.
First right of refusal, yeah.
So we made sure we did that because, we're sinking a lot of our life into this. And,
and I mean, you get this thing ginning and rolling, and it's going along well, and they come out and they're going to sell the building out from under you.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Could be somebody who comes in and says, "All right, well, your lease is up, and I'm not going to renew it."
Exactly.
And but I'm going to keep running that business that you've built up, that clientele. And that happens a lot in the world. So. Boomer, you know this about me. I listen to audiobooks. I love audiobooks. And one I'm listening to currently gave me an idea for a question to ask y'all for this week on the podcast. Now, in this book, it's following this man who you first see him as he walks into a convenience store, on a Friday or Saturday night, and there's a woman and her son in front of him at the convenience store. There's a guy at the register and a guy checking out. The guy who was checking out, he's leaving. The woman and her son are about to step up to the register, and a young kid in a ski mask runs in with a gun, and this guy reaches around the kid and grabs his hand, basically breaks his hand, takes the gun away from him, and throws him out of the store. Man buys the stuff he was going to buy, and is walking and goes and gets on a bus that is headed out of town. This woman and her son are also on the bus. It's snowing. It's real, weather's bad. Bus has an accident on a bridge. Bus goes over the edge. And this man, whom we don't know who he is yet, he rescues the people, but he dies when the bus goes underwater. And then you find out that he is taken to a laboratory where they are able to thaw him out and bring him back to life. So cryogenics, is a real thing. I mean, Ted Williams, the baseball player, Hall of Fame baseball player, had his head cryogenically frozen. And then Walt Disney, he was cryogenically frozen. And so they're going through this, and, they get him unfrozen. He's alive. It takes him a couple of weeks for his motor skills to come back and all. And we find out that it's 22 years later that he's been in this frozen state for 22 years. Got me thinking. If someone woke up today that has been in a coma or in a frozen state or whatever since the year 2000, what are 5, 8, 10 things you would tell them has happened in the world since the year 2000?
I'd probably tell them about 9/11, 2001, because that was a tipping point in,
well, especially the last quarter of a century,
for how a lot of things occurred post that. So tell them about that.
Yeah, I asked my son, the civics teacher, last night this same question. And he was like, now when in 2000? I said, let's just assume previous to the election. He said, okay. So then I would tell him George W. Bush won, but it had to go to the Supreme Court. And I said, I could see that. That's not normal, for an election to have to go to the Supreme Court.
And we had a thing called hanging chads, but it wasn't some gay guy named Chad.
No. There was no physical violence involved.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
may have been.
Had some people kicking in doors and stuff, But, George W. Bush wins the election, and then, less than 9 months into his term, we have 9/11. We have that attack. And then there's a 20-year war on two fronts after this.
In Iraq
and Afghanistan. Yeah. And he was like, yeah. He said, and then I would tell him that, George W. Bush gets reelected, and that towards the end of his second term, the housing market collapses. And
we bail them out.
And we went on an all-out spending spree. You get a check.
Because Clinton said that everybody gets a house.
Well, I'm going to just blame it on Bill Clinton. I mean, the housing lobby is pretty strong. A lot of Congress had to go along with that. I still agree with the concept of owning a home is probably one of the greatest parts of the American dream.
Yeah.
It's not a right.
No.
It's a privilege.
Yes.
But we should do what we can do to help people own homes.
But we should do that, but they've got to have skin in the game.
Right. What happened was, well, we laugh about it all the time. You remember on what was the TV channel? It was the Home Network, or not Home Shopping, but
QVC?
No.
What did we?
There was House Hunters, the TV show House Hunters.
Oh, okay.
Was that on the Learning Channel, maybe? TLC?
Maybe A&E.
A&E. Discovery or something.
Yeah, Discovery.
I think A&E.
But you remember they would be like, well, I teach school, and my husband is an interpretive dance artist.
Yeah. And our budget is
$1.3 million.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait,
Yeah.
what? How?
Yeah.
We found out after the bubble burst on homes that there was one couple, for example, living in a $4 million house that made $1,400 a month picking apples in Southern California, in Northern California.
So Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac You get a house, you get a house.
Right.
Yeah, that's what the problem was. Yeah.
And then, interest-only home loans, which seems smart because you figure that home is only going to appreciate in value. The problem is if you still have no skin in the game, you've basically been renting. If you do get any money back, it's going to be minimal if you sell that home. So that's not really owning a home. The house I live in now, I've been in for 20 years. I'm on the downhill slide of my mortgage, by the way.
Yep.
Every month when I pay that note, I see that balance go down as opposed to it just where it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, the housing market, and then of course we went into a recession, and he said, of course, I would explain to him. We then elected our first black president, and then Hillary Clinton actually did get the nomination for her party, but she lost to Donald Trump. And so I'm playing the person who's been like in the coma, and I'm like, wait, the reality TV guy? Yeah, him.
Was that prior to the 2000s he did reality TV? I don't think so.
I think it was early.
Yeah, maybe it was after. Okay, so
he was in the scene. He's been in the scene since the 90s.
But they'd say, because Donald Trump, when he was on Oprah Winfrey, actually talked kind of intelligently.
In the 80s, that was in
back in the
88.
80s.
They were asking if he was going to run.
And he was saying this, he said he would run if he had to, if it came to that point.
If it came to that.
And we're talking, we've gotten a field here, but he talked a lot more intelligently then.
Well, he's kept up with the American public.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. In 1988, you had no WCW Monday Night Raw. Okay. The things that happened on people's television sets that they accepted as normal, the crotch grabbing, the blurring out of boobs on live television, those things had not happened up to that point. After the American public became okay with a little bit of shock jock, Donald Trump became more of a shock jock.
I guess you're right. Yep.
I would say the man is a master showman.
Oh, he is. And a genius manipulator.
Well, yeah. I mean, but think about it.
Not bad way.
You don't become a billionaire doing billion-dollar deals if you can't manipulate some of that into the way you want it, And again, you don't have to love the guy. You don't have to like his politics. You don't have to do any of that. But just go read The Art of the Deal. I listened to it. It's a fabulous book, and you can use all of the methods and lessons in that book in life every day.
Yeah,
it's kind of like with my sales staff. I would give every new salesperson a copy of Sun Tzu's Art of War.
Yeah, Art of War,
and that was written 3,000 years before Christ, or 300 years before Christ, and yet the lessons in there are still applicable to today. So, of course, then my son said, "Yeah." I would say, "Hey, you remember Destiny's Child?" And they'd be like, "Yeah, I love them." I said, "Yeah, they broke up, but not in a bad way. They each went their own way, and Beyonce's big. She's bigger than any of them. You remember Diddy? Yeah, he's in prison.
Yeah, P. Yeah, Sean, the guy Sean. Yeah.
Sean Puffy.
Yeah,
Puff Daddy. Yeah, he's in prison now.
And there's a baby oil company that's out of business now.
I don't know how they could be out of business. He was keeping them afloat.
The stocks were good then.
It's not there.
It's not there anymore. That's true. Yeah, they filed chapter 13. So, and but you think about it, you're like, okay, what would you tell people? Saddam's gone.
Yeah.
By the way, the guy who committed 9/11, we found him, we killed him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's dead.
He's dead.
But then all the technological things that have happened since 2000.
He said that too. He said, well, I would tell them, then there was this pandemic, and we shut down everything. And when I say everything, schools, churches, mom and pop businesses shut down.
Not Walmart.
Not Walmart.
Not Target.
Not Target. Not liquor stores.
Not liquor stores.
Not some restaurants in the South. Mainly in the South.
But churches.
But churches, we closed all those down, and kids couldn't go to school.
And restaurants in California, except where the governor went with his buddies.
Right. They closed public parks in California. That's what Joe Rogan says the whole time. The whole reason he moved to Texas was when they closed a park, an outdoor park during COVID. He's like, okay, Stop.
That's it.
This is too much.
There was his line of departure.
He was like, And so
and then we had that whole thing of the cancel culture where we
tore down statues.
We tore down statues. And you know, statues sometimes are meant to remind us what not to do anymore.
Exactly.
You know, we had this statue here because, you know, it was erected for a Civil War hero.
Yeah.
But it was a reminder that, you know, the South is not going to rise again.
Exactly.
In some people's minds, it might.
Well,
in Alabama and Kentucky. I mean, no, it could be Mississippi or Louisiana.
It could.
Or Arkansas.
There's a few people who probably believe that.
North Arkansas.
I don't know anyone who believes that.
No, not anymore.
You know,
maybe back up to the 70s, maybe.
Yeah, there were people back then that they were just waiting. Could be any day now. We'll get the call.
So,
but again, talking about things that have happened since 2000. Said, yeah, you know that internet thing. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
Smart TVs, smart refrigerators. You know, instant streaming of movies. And you know,
on your phone, on your laptop.
I said, you also look at them and you say, we don't have flying cars, but we do have driverless cars.
Yeah, we got cars that drive themselves.
Yeah. There's an Italian lady. Her kids are always pranking her. And so she calls for an Uber, and they're in some city. I don't remember. She's supposed to meet them at this place, and so she calls for an Uber. Well, they canceled the Uber, and they send her a driverless car. Her kids do. And so there's a guy standing there. And he's like, hi, are you so-and-so? She's like, yeah. He opens the door. She gets in. He shuts the door. And he's like, oh, excuse me, I'll be right back. And he's like holding his stomach, and he takes off. Well, when he walks away, the car takes off. And she is losing it. She is freaking out. And
she crawling over the seat?
No, she couldn't. She's a rather large lady. But she is in the back seat, and her kids are like on a party bus behind her. And they have a microphone. They're talking to her, but as the company that owns the car. Hi, thank you for riding in rideshare, you know, or whatever. If you need help, please ask for technical support or whatever. Technical support. Hi, this is rideshare. Technical support. No one is available right now. If you would like to speak to a person, speak to a person. And so she's telling him, I'm in this car and it's going somewhere. I have no idea what's going. Oh, yes, ma'am. We see that it's going somewhere, and yeah, you're going to your destination. I don't know where I'm going. You know, the car does. You know, she is beside herself.
And this is an Italian. Is this in Italy?
No. It's in America.
Okay,
but it's an Italian, a nana. You know.
Okay. All right.
And
that's hilarious.
And of course, they mess with her the whole way there, and then of course she gets out and sees them, and she realizes what's happened, and she just cusses them up one side and down the other.
She doesn't think it's funny.
And does a rosary, but you know,
to absolve herself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe those are called the Waymos.
Waymo, that's it. Waymo.
Yeah, I've seen lots of videos of people just kind of very hesitant of riding in them things.
You know, I guess I would be too. I don't know why. I mean, they've obviously been proven. I mean, yeah, there's accidents with them, but there's accidents with people who are driving.
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean, again, you want to test your metal, you want to test your backbone. Jump in a cab in Cozumel.
Or Mexico City.
Yeah, or Mexico City. and you'll find out real quick if you have the fortitude to do that or not, you know.
Well, look like India and the way those taxis, the little scooter taxis.
Yeah.
Man, the way they weave in and out and just.
You know, I used to think I'd like to go visit India, and then everyone I've ever talked to said, I couldn't get past the smell when you get off the plane. It's like, oh. And said, and you don't get used to it. And I'm like, really? It's that?
Is it a food smell or just a?
I think it's just a stench.
Stench smell.
Yeah. And of course, BO is a real issue.
Okay.
You know, as well. So they would go into shops and stuff and be like, I can't make myself buy anything from here because I don't want that smell in my luggage.
You know, Richard Pryor was in Africa, and the guy that was driving him, his body odor was so bad that Richard and the guy, they were about to say, listen, just let us walk. And the driver stopped and said, you guys are going to have to get out. Because the cologne and all that was driving him nuts.
Oh, my gosh.
And we are so obsessed with not having any body odor.
You know, that's the thing is, like, I like wearing cologne. I like to think I wear it very lightly. Proven by the fact that I have a bottle my wife bought me for our first Christmas together, which was in 2013, and it's still half a bottle. So I barely use it. But it is almost just as offensive. Actually, to me, it's a little more offensive if someone like overly does cologne versus body odor.
If they walk by, like if we're right here in this table and they walk by and you just like the air from them just hits you like it's
just reaches around you and slaps you in the face.
High karate or something.
Yeah. Other things that happened since 2000. Say, oh, by the way, because of that pandemic, Donald Trump lost, and then Joe Biden, who was vice president for the first black president, becomes president, and he has dementia, but he never resigns from office.
Nope. And he got 20 million more votes than the average of all the people that won the presidency the past 2 decades before him and after him.
And so Donald Trump wins again in his third election. And
so is it 2 consecutive that you can't do a third one?
No, you can only do 2 terms, period.
You sure?
Yes.
No, I'm just kidding. I knew that.
Yeah.
He keeps acting like he's going to do a third term.
That's Trump, man. Listen,
no need to be tried.
He's a marble roller.
That's why
he's going to throw it out there and see if you trip on it.
Yeah.
Well, because listen, it's one of those like, hey, watch this hand.
Yeah.
You know, watch this hand. You know, I mean, I remember one of my sons, and I won't say which one, came to me a few months ago, beside himself. You know, about the Epstein files. You know, those need to be released. He ran on, he was going to release them. And now he's saying that we as Americans just need to get over it and get past it. And I told him, I said, son, nothing that man says can be taken at face value. Nothing. I said, it's a setup. I promise you, just watch. And it wasn't a week later. He had everyone in Congress, Republican and Democrat both, clamoring, we want those Epstein files. So he let them out.
Ain't heard much about it since then,
Hadn't heard a whole lot since. Yeah. Yeah.
The truth doesn't always set you free.
So especially when we find out that, oh, it was Donald Trump that alerted the FBI to Jeffrey Epstein way many decades ago.
Kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah. Hey, y'all need to check on this guy. He's a creep.
And you've mentioned this before, and it's a line from a movie. Said we need a wartime consigliere, and Donald Trump was the man for such a time as this, where we are so polarized. And I want to tell you, there's a scene from House of Cards where the Democratic and Republican candidates get in a room together, and it wasn't a matter of differences of opinion. It was, you do it for a while, and we'll gripe at you, and then I'll do it for a while, and you get to gripe at me.
Yeah.
And we'll all get paid, and we have automatic pay raises, and we can go from a net worth of $300,000 to $20 million in a matter of one term.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can't scare him into doing something.
That's what I was going to say. As polarizing as politics are currently, and it's funny because JW asked you and I before the podcast today. He said, "Has it always been this way?" It hasn't. Now, I would say initially it kicked off with Nixon and the Watergate hearings, and then so the Republicans said, "That's fine, we'll get you back."
So it's been tit for tat.
It has, and then of course you had the Iran-Contra hearings, and at that point it didn't even matter what the truth was. We just wanted someone to hang. If you were in the opposite party,
the weapons of mass destruction that we never found.
You know, and you know, Iraq has weapons of mass destruction, and the COVID virus did not come from a lab owned by Anthony Fauci. 2 of the biggest lies we've ever heard. Biggest lies we've ever heard.
The Anthony Fauci one is huge.
I mean, again, I save the term. I don't like saying you can't convince me because that whispers closed-minded, and I am anything but closed-minded. However, it would be extremely difficult to convince me that somewhere in early 2019 you didn't have a cigar smoke-filled room with that dark wood paneling and 2 or 3 Democrats and 2 or 3 Republicans sitting there saying, all right, look, we can't beat the guy. He's going to win re-election. Y'all seen this economy? Everybody's working. People who have been drawing unemployment for 99 weeks and then reapplying and getting another 99, they've got jobs and good paying jobs. We've got to do something. It's time for Plan B. call Dr. Fauci and tell him to release that. That's, in my mind, that is very feasible. I'm not saying it happened. It's just there's a whole lot of coincidence in there.
But to know, oh my God, that there are people that are that evil, that millions of people would die because
and how easily it was to manipulate the American people.
Yeah, we just fell right into it.
Hey, let us give you this injection that we know nothing about, except they did. We find out now. Mm-hmm. It's going to change your DNA just a little, just a tad, to the point to where a number of healthy people are dying for reasons they should not be dying. Now,
yeah,
you know, after
post 5-6 years,
you know, and it's just, and again,
did you get it, Lance?
Nope.
Tin hat theorist, you know, call me a tin hat conspiracy theorist.
It doesn't make you anti, you know, vaccine
it's
person.
It's not a vaccine anyway.
You know, because if you look at the vaccine for polio, and those are great, just life-saving vaccines that
diphtheria
we need.
And
you know, tetanus, things like that those are ones we need. But you know, when it becomes a money grab,
and it was sure that
is when you want to provide something to keep the public safe, okay? But as many people have said, you know, when you get sick, how do kids get sick? By going to school, right? How do they get better? By going to school.
Herd immunity.
Right. And people hate hearing that word. But when you get the injection, the COVID injection, and then you automatically get it again, well, then what's the point? And then you have to get another one, and then you get it again.
Yeah.
Okay, and then
I have a friend who had the original shot and 2 boosters and has had COVID 4 times.
Right. And then they take you on the respirator. Well, you know, I got
you're done.
Good friend of ours that she was a nurse. She said, if you get it, do not get on the respirator because it will take your habit of breathing away. So when you come off of it, you won't be able to breathe because you get so reliant on it.
It bakes your lungs,
right?
You know, and which is why my dad and I had that conversation just 2 days before he passed. He's like, "I'm just glad they didn't vent me," and then they vented him that night, and then 2 days later he was dead. You know, I just, you know, thank God for my wife who, you know, I could just bounce things off of her and she'd say, medically, that is incorrect. You know, or she would say, I see that. I see where you get that. Let me get back to you. And she'd study it and she would tell me. And, you know, she's smart, except for marrying me. She's pretty smart.
No, she did all right there too. But, she
could have done better.
You know, there's a guy that I listen to. There's some of them that are just, you know, pundits and entertainment.
Yeah, Sean Hannity. I love Sean.
I do too. But
he'll repeat the same thing,
like ad infinitum,
like listening to the choir at my church. We're going to sing the same song for 45 minutes. Are you sure?
And they get real loud at the end.
Yeah, Glenn Beck, over time, has said things that I've listened to since he used to do chalkboards that have come to pass. And he's talking about a great reset, about how it's going to happen, and I think that's what the New World Order is pushing towards, so that everything you own, you won't own anymore, and it won't be worth anything, so that the ultra rich and the people that control the world will own everything.
Well, if you look at that, what is the conference they have over there in Duvas or whatever?
Yeah.
You know, they don't hide it anymore. They say, look, you will own nothing and you will be happy.
Yeah.
And they just say it out loud.
Yep.
But most people have never heard that conference, have never listened to it in the way they speak and the way they talk and the way they want things. Because obviously, the more they control, the easier you are to control.
Yeah, we're not talking Donald Trump rich. We're talking, you know.
Oh, no, we're talking about like we can tell the sun whether to set today or not, rich, you know.
Yeah.
Now, you know, of course, that's the same group that says the world would be better off if we maxed out population at 500 million.
Yeah. Yeah.
500 million. You realize that in America we have 400 million just between sea and shining sea.
Yeah. That's why they want you to eat crickets. and that's why all the Black Rocks and the big funds are behind houses. I'm telling you. I may have
Vanguard and BlackRock and all of them. I when I went and invested recently, I was like, look, I need to know how much of this we're putting into Vanguard and BlackRock. So, well, what amount do you want to put in? I said as little as possible. Now, they still make money.
Yeah.
I don't want to die on a hill of poverty.
Yeah.
Just standing on principle. But I also don't want to fund them. Not like my money makes any difference.
Yeah.
But again, my theory: if you stack up enough nickels, it makes $1.
100 million of us doing it.
100 million pull out, and all of a sudden they get a little more friendly about listening. And but that's the world we live in today. And now the other side of that is you have to look at what you consider, I guess, like biblical prophecy, and say, where does all this,
it fits right in.
Where does it? You come on through.
One world government.
Hey, look, pretty girls just walk in here and see him all the time. I mean, just
don't get him in trouble.
Of all guys.
He's signing his life over right now too.
Well, he should. He should.
As well, he should.
Good to see you, Scarlett. But JW's beautiful wife just walks in and the whole thing stops. Wonder why?
Stop the whole show.
Because she's gorgeous and she's classy and smart
and married to this guy.
And
he's only 22.
Whatever. Yeah.
So
is she. Now that's smart.
There you go.
That's
Bobby.
smart right there.
There you go.
But so one of my sons told me the other day, he said, well, I remember in 2008 when Obama got elected, you told me it was the end of the world. I said, oh no.
No, not
I said,
then.
if I told you that, then either you misunderstood what I said or I wasn't clear enough. I said,
because the world as we know it.
No, I said, I never thought that. I said, as a matter of fact, I said, I really thought McCain had a chance because here was my thought. If we really are going headlong into what the Bible believers call the last days, right? There has to be a war with Israel that America goes, and it's not just Israel in one nation, it's Israel in a bunch of nations. And America comes in to defend Israel. I said, I just don't think you would have that with an Obama presidency. So I thought if McCain wins, we could still be on that same track biblically, prophetically. And I said, so I know if that's what you got out of whatever it was I said, then it was totally misunderstood. And he's like, now that you say that, he said, maybe I did. And I was like, that's all I can figure because I didn't think that.
Plus the last one, the last war that's going to happen, Israel's going to, they're going to be at a time of peace.
Right.
In Jeremiah 27, it talks about that it says that they come in and there's no walls.
Right. That's when you really know, because nobody can predict.
No,
we have so
no.
many. That's nothing. You have a lot of. You kind of have almost a business on fearmonger preaching. I call it. Right?
Oh yeah.
And where they make tons of money on preaching about end of days, but you cannot predict the end of the world. But like you just said, the day that there is peace in Israel, that's when.
Well, it's you
should be right.
A pastor friend of mine told me, he said, man, I quit guessing on who the Antichrist was after my fourth one died.
And plus Iran's going to be the ones that they're going to be a part of all this.
At the end.
Well, that whole region, that's
right. It will. And, of course, the biggest thing you think about in those prophecies are, I'll put a hook in the jaw of the bear and turn his face south.
Yeah.
And well, who's the bear to the north? Russia. That's not hard to figure out.
Yeah.
Gog and Magog and Babylon and Assyria and all those. So anyway, we can get into that. We don't want to, so I'm not going to. But so I just think that, in the last 25, 26 years, the world has changed exponentially fast.
Yeah.
You
could tell that guy that what the computing power that they had on the moonshot, we have in this phone right now.
Which, by the way, a lot of people don't believe anymore.
Yeah.
Because in 2000, that was unheard of. What? People don't believe. You knew there were some people out there, there was 2 shooters on the grassy knoll. Elvis ain't dead. We've never walked on the moon.
Yeah.
Those people.
Yeah.
But that's a little more widespread now.
It is. There's a lot.
And the flat earthers.
Yeah, and I told one daughter, I said, listen, you can go down that rabbit hole of the moon thing, but baby, don't go down the rabbit hole of the flat earth.
No,
I said, don't do that. She goes, well, Daddy, it makes a lot of sense. I said,
No, it
doesn't.
It doesn't.
It doesn't. I said,
It's
don't
not the
listen
way
to them.
physics works.
It doesn't work that way.
I mean, just plain
They
physics.
said all the water would just fall off. It would be level. It would just fall off if we're round.
Well, what if you sail from Japan to America? Or do you just fall off? Right. To the universe?
Right.
That's my whole.
My thing is, so when the sun comes up, why isn't there a shadow from China all the way
here
to Japan? If you keep going all the way back across, why isn't there a shadow?
Yeah.
You know, because the Earth is round.
And if they say that we hadn't been to the moon, I said, well, you haven't watched The Big Bang Theory. I said, because those guys went out one night and they shot a laser off the reflector on the moon and got high while they were doing it. So we've been to the moon.
I missed that episode, evidently.
Man, it was a cool episode.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah. So let's change subjects here real quick.
Okay.
I was in an intersection the other day here in town,
Oh, boy.
and there's a gentleman sitting there on the side of the road at this intersection, busy intersection, with a sign that reads, "Homeless and hopeless, any amount helps. God bless." And I'm next to him. I'm in the outside lane because I'm going to turn right up here. He's sitting right here on the grass, right there. And I'm glance over at him a couple of times, and he pulls out an iPhone. How do I know it's an iPhone? Because I can see the blue bubble. Blue bubble, by the way. I give JW hell about that. Because we'll have this great text thread going, and somebody said, we need to include JW. I'm like, yeah, but then the bubbles will go green. You know, I don't want green bubbles. So that's toxic. Green is toxic. Blue is pure.
Okay.
You know, anyway. But I look over there, and he's got an iPhone. So with that, what do you consider poor? Because I'm going to tell you, growing up, I knew some poor people. So my best friend growing up, Ricky Allen, who lived across the street from me, Ricky did not have electricity until he was 11. And even then, they were afraid to use it. They never had a television from what I remember. Of course, they didn't have a home phone. The poor people I knew didn't have TVs and phones. And again, many of them did not have electricity. They lived just like it was the 1920s, you know. Candles
waiting to burn all these candles.
Candles and lanterns, but they didn't.
Yeah, that's poor.
Yeah, that's poor. Not having an iPhone.
Yeah.
Not having a big screen.
My mother-in-law said when a missionary came to church to give their talk and tell where they've been, then ask for donations, she says, I wanted to see what vehicle they drove before I wrote a check to them.
Yeah.
They drove one better than me. She says, I'm not writing them a check.
I'm going to tell a quick story, if you don't mind. Church I went to, the preacher came in one Sunday in, homeless clothing.
Yeah.
Came in, and everybody's kind of looking, but then you kind of figure it out. But and he started kind of talking about how he's struggling and all these things. And then he's, started taking off his clothes, and then it was him, right? He said, see, y'all judge me, whatever. The thing is this certain pastor drove a very nice car, had a $250,000 house, and had, done some other things with the church money. And that right there just really, to me, that's poor in the soul.
Yes.
There you go.
That's poverty.
You preach these things, but yet
that's poverty of spirit, maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. You can be poor and be rich in soul, or you can be rich and you can be poor in the soul. You see it all too often. And when that guy says hopeless, he's poor in that aspect. He has an
if
iPhone,
he really is hopeless.
but if he's hopeless, that's the first thing he needs to look at. Is, how do I get some hope in my life?
Why are you hopeless? You know, when there is hope.
Or don't pull out the phone.
Right.
That's the other thing.
If you got a sign.
I've seen things. I lived in Rhode Island when I went to culinary school.
Yeah.
And they're professionals up there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they are professionals.
They'll get up off their corner and walk and back to their car 2 blocks over.
Range Rover.
I'd ask them, I said, how much money do you make sitting here all day?
Panhandling.
They said about $400 a day. I said, well, I'm about to quit my job and come join you because
Tax-free.
Give me an old shirt.
you get me through college.
Yeah.
Tax-free.
Yeah.
There was a guy that used to, where I lived in Houston, when I was going to college in Houston. He was at an intersection, and you stop, he'd run out there with a squeegee and do your window. And if you gave him money, great. If you didn't, he never said a word. I run into him at the gas station across the street from that intersection one time, and he was getting ready to go start his day. And I said, man, how do you do? He said, oh, good day, I'll make $1,500. This was in 1990.
Oh.
I'll make $1,500. And I'm like, go ahead on then.
Somebody giving him 10s and 20s just to. But he's working. He's performing a service, providing a service,
And
now, if he would do that and then become indignant with people, then then you're a pest to the society. But
yeah. Now people running up there with a water bottle, a bottle of Dasani and a crumpled up newspaper.
Yeah,
it's not the same. This guy walked out there with a bottle of Windex, probably watered down Windex, but Windex
and a squeegee.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I would tip the guy at the gas station if he washed my windshield right. I have no problem giving this guy money.
You did a good job. There you go.
Exactly.
Now, if it had been someone from the 70s that got cryogenic, of course, we didn't have cryogenics then, and they jumped off post 2000, that would just be horrible. I've seen shows about that where someone, went ahead in time or went back in time, and it was just really, really tough. Besides Back to the Future.
I can't imagine what it would be like to have, if you went into a coma prior to the invention of the VCR.
Okay.
And you come today and we have instant streaming.
Yeah, there's so much stuff that,
oh, by the way, don't need a calculator. There's one on here. I don't need an alarm clock. There's one on here. I don't need a calendar. I don't need an encyclopedia, dictionary. I don't need any of that. They're all right here. By the way, if someone did go into a coma in the year 2000 and woke up today, we'd have to tell them there's this thing called Google, and it runs everything. And, I mean, that would be a hard...
And then you have to explain, or try to explain, artificial intelligence or Bitcoins. Or
oh, yeah. Listen, I'm here for it, and I still don't really understand Bitcoins.
No.
And I have an acquaintance. I don't want to call him a friend. An acquaintance who started a Bitcoin farm mining operation and is evidently killing it.
And I still don't understand how that works.
Yeah, if you got in it at a certain point, you are doing well.
Kind of like Amway? If you got in it,
not quite.
Not quite.
There's no pyramid. But it's just one of those things that, he technologically sound enough to know how to put it all together. Has a piece of property in another part here of the state.
A lot of
and he had a lot of power run to that property, and built him a little shed, and boom, boom, yeah. You can tell when his computer's kick on because everybody in about 30 miles their lights dim. But
and the guy,
he's
got the plant.
And my understanding is his average, he might mine 1/18 of a Bitcoin a day.
And where do they get that from?
Don't ask me. It's numerical anomalies that happen in the Bitcoin. I've even watched documentaries about it,
and I still
don't really get it. But if Bitcoin's trading at $18,000 and you get an 18th of one, that's $1,000 a day. Tell me who wouldn't take $1,000 a day. And there's days where he does way better than that. There's days where he's ended up like with 3 entire Bitcoins. That's $64,000.
Does it come from transactions?
I think so, if I remember correctly.
Can you explain it, Lance?
It's hard.
Not to old people.
It's almost like a pool, honestly, pool of money, right? In a sense, there's this whole thing called the blockchain
blockchain, yeah.
And then that's where all these cryptos live on. And so, it's an entire process, and it's still hard to explain.
Yeah. And my daughter tried to explain it to me. I mean, she worked for Walmart and traveled around with the president of Walmart and the president of Sam's, and she tried to explain all that to me, and I said, that's beyond my imagination. That I don't have.
Essentially, it's like it is regulated now, but it was a non-regulated stock.
Yeah.
Where you put money into it, and more people put money into it, and higher it goes, and people start taking out. But when you have big time companies,
something's
putting
When you buy
millions and
Bitcoin at the
billions
ATM
into-
now.
Yeah.
okay.
You can buy Bitcoin at an ATM.
Well, and third world countries are moving to that to help their economic
Their
crisis,
exchange rate,
because their dollar is so minuscule that being able to use a digital currency for them is help. This is what I'm just seeing is helping them.
Well, and there's a thought that it also stops countries from currency manipulation, and which has been a big concern of China. That they manipulate the currency
and can.
and they can, and they do so to their benefit, of course, and to our detriment. But
And why?
so, while we're talking about digital things, let me ask you this question: do you believe that digital wedding invitations are tacky?
Yes.
That surprises me. Okay.
That's why I deferred to him because the next generation, the next 3 generations past mine, would most likely say, if we can give it to them, they're saving money. But my generation would say, right, let's have that sucker printed.
I mean, if you do everything else online, like the planning, the RSVP, and but just make the invitation personable.
Yeah.
I feel like is.
Yeah.
I don't think
tend
I've
to
ever
agree.
received a digital one.
I tend to agree in the fact that it does feel like you really do want me to attend.
Yeah.
Whether I'm going to or not is irrelevant. But it feels like you want me to attend if you took the time to print off an invitation and mail it to me.
Yeah.
Even if it's just a save the date card.
Yeah.
But I also would not be offended if someone sent me a digital
What would you be?
invitation.
Let me go further then. Would you be more apt to RSVP to a printed card or a digital invitation?
Well, what I feel like and what I would actually do are probably two different things. I would almost instantly RSVP to a digital one because I'm already
you're
there. I'm already at my computer or on my device or whatever. Whereas with a printed one, I would set it here and say, I'll do that later.
Mm-hmm. How about print it out and then have a QR code or place to go?
Now I'll say this. We just had this discussion at my house the other day because we got like 4 things from our kids' school for 2 different kids that was slam full of QR codes. And, to order this or to do this or do that, scan this QR code. And I'm like, I really don't want to scan a QR code, to be honest with you, because you're sending me to a third-party site that I know nothing about, first of all.
Okay.
What am I agreeing to allow to happen to my information by scanning this QR code?
I see.
I don't know what that is. And you're like, oh, Sandy, that's paranoid. No, it's real.
No, that's
it's very real. It happens every day. And not everyone acts in good faith, And what a better way than to get in with school districts, and be like, hey, we can take care of all of that with one QR code. Mm-hmm. And we'll sell all your information to the Russian mafia. But,
Well, the company that I work for, the insurance company, has stores or whatever you want to call them, agencies in several states. And it's all on one. I mean, we have to take classes on what not to open, and they'll send you things to see if you opened it, and then you're back to class if you open something.
Y'all had that happen recently. Huh? Y'all had that happen recently.
Yeah, it did happen.
Because I remember I got an email. I was like, I got one from the Share Foundation recently, and I called the sender, and I just texted her, and I said, hey, did you send me some weird file? And she's like, oh God, no, please don't open that. I said, I didn't, but it didn't look right. But this morning, let me tell you what I got this morning, Boomer. I got a text this morning from the 929 area code. And I'll show it to you. Right there at the top, it says State of Arkansas.
Scam.
Yeah. And in the District Court of Pulaski County, Arkansas, and that I have a failure to pay electronic toll.
Yeah, they talked about that
toll
on the news.
evasion.
Yeah, toll.
Now, where is there a toll in Little Rock?
I don't know if there's any toll
I don't
roads
know
in
if there's
Little
any
Rock.
Arkansas, are there?
I don't know that there are any in Arkansas either. But here's my favorite. Because there's just some things. Irregardless.
Oh yeah, I like that word.
That's not even a real word.
No, it's not.
And then remit full payment in total of all outstanding tolls, penalties, blah, 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 blah. Appear before the court without failure at the scheduled hearing about this matter under oath. Final judgment, court order for contempt. There was a phrase it used, and I had not even been reading it. I just saw it, and I was like, that's misspelled.
Well, they had another misspelled word?
I'll remember here shortly.
That sounds like a Chat GPT ordeal right there.
Yeah, I mean it.
Yeah.
But
So I have a friend that is getting spam calls all day long, and he'll block every one of them. The other day I said, dude, why do you get so many spam calls? Man, I don't know. I block all of them when they come in. And he said, hey, I took that survey on your IQ last night on TikTok.
Oh dear Lord.
I said, dude, quit taking surveys online, on Facebook, on Reels, or what. Don't do that.
Yeah, surveys are the easiest way to get
information.
What is your spirit animal? Click
yes,
here.
That was the other one. He did that too.
Who were you in the Civil War?
Yeah.
Click here. Which Roman god would you be?
Yeah, and there's one that I've been seeing now. It's here's a picture of you in the 7th grade.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not gonna have a picture of me in this. I said, I don't have a picture of me in the 7th grade.
Yeah, so I don't know how y'all do. Anyway, I thought I would just spot that right off the bat, but there was basically it says, if you want to not go to court, not go to jail, just scan this QR code
and you can pay it right here.
You can pay it right here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I'm good, thanks.
You enter your credit card information right here.
Yeah, exactly right.
We were when we had the paper at this radio station, we were pretty vigilant about spell checking, and in fact, Amanda and I, they would let she and I do some spell checking for that. And Martha and I are huge connoisseurs of looking for misspelled words in things. And I saw one today, and I ain't gonna say where because I don't want to disparage them, but they had the A before the U when it's a U supposed to be after this letter all the time. And it just, if you look at the word, plus it was in caps.
Oh, even better.
And it was very glaring. And I went, Martha. So anyway, when you see stuff like that, and you start looking for those things, well, it's very evident that, it's somebody from Pakistan or
Nigeria,
Bangladesh or Nigeria.
Whose uncle is the king, and, they're going to
They got
release
a check, they're going to send it to you, and you cash it and send it back to you.
Which Boomer and I had a person try to pull that scam on us in real life one time.
IRL.
And IRL, FRFR. And we were in Little Rock, and we're walking down the River District there. We're going to eat. And, the panhandlers were like out in thick force that night. And this guy comes running up to us, and he's got this check in his hand. Hey, man, let me talk to you. We're like, no, thank you. He just wouldn't stop. Finally, this guy, he spins around and says, what? And the guy's like, man, look, I'm trying to get to my church, and I got this check right here for $300, and if you just give me $100 for it,
I'll give you the check.
And Boomer's like, no, man, I don't want, and this guy wouldn't take no for an answer, and so that's when you have to act crazy, and
I did.
And Boomer did, and I'm pretty good at that too, I'll jump up and be like, what part of get away from me do you not understand? Because look, I don't play with crazy people.
Right.
And when it comes all the way down to you're not getting anything, you most likely they're gonna get the F-bomb at you. So
oh yeah,
he did. I went, really?
I lived in New Orleans for about a year and a half. So
oh yeah,
I've seen everything there
so
is
you know
to
what
see.
Here's
what
my
the
favorite
smell of urine in beer is.
Oh, yeah.
Here's my favorite Bourbon Street. I bet you for $10 I can tell you where you got them shoes. That's my favorite. And I had a guy do that to me for $5.
Yeah.
I bet you $5 I can tell you where you got them shoes. And I just reached in my pocket. I pulled out $5. Said, "Man, just for having the balls to walk with me and say that, here you go." And walked
so where'd
off.
I get them?
Walked off.
You don't want to know where you got them from?
Not where you got them from. Where you got them? You got them on your feet.
I bet I can tell the store.
Oh man, you got me.
Yeah. Well, back then used to be the case. I don't think I bought a pair of shoes in a store, and
The shoes I got on came on FedEx.
yeah. You know, I got years ago. I started buying Brooks athletic
Really?
shoes. Yeah, man, look, you can either walk around with your feet hurting or you can buy good shoes. And so I started buying Brooks, and
Well, these Skechers feel better than my own Cloud, so
really,
they do. Maybe it's my broke down feet.
that's good to know.
Because my own
No,
Clouds,
I've heard that, some on clouds are comfortable, but a lot of them hurt.
The one I got
my wife
didn't.
got a pair and it hurt her feet, but she wears the Brooks, and now the Hokas have taken hold of everybody, and everybody loves them.
Now, some of the smartest things I've ever done: getting fitted for golf clubs. Lost 8-9 strokes right there, and getting fitted for tennis shoes.
yeah, that,
You know, because you have suplation and the other
In
one
or out.
Yeah, whether you wear out the heel or on the inside or the out of your shoe.
yeah, sublimation,
Sublimation, yeah.
Yeah.
Or alpination and all those. Anyways, I got fitted, and ever since then, it was like, oh, this is what new shoes are supposed to feel
Did
like.
you go up to Little Rock for that guy that always?
I'm trying to remember where I got that done. I want to say it was in Shreveport.
Okay. There's
And-
one that advertises on Channel 7 all the time, every night during the news. That
Well,
does-
see, first of all, you watch the news.
why wouldn't you? Because you're working or something at 6 o'clock?
No, I wouldn't believe them and whatever they said.
Who?
The news.
Little Rock?
Yeah.
You don't believe them?
You know, I quit watching news 5-6 years ago.
So where do you get your news?
I really don't.
Well, how do you talk about stuff then? You get news somewhere.
I mean, I'll see headlines, but I don't watch news. I won't even watch the Weather Channel.
Well, that's kind of become a whole different.
Well, after
ballgame,
2020,
too.
I mean, and I hate to be that way, but we were lied to on every level by everyone. Sports, news, they were buying ads everywhere to talk to us about COVID and the vaccines.
Have you seen the videos where they start with one San Francisco channel, then they put Detroit channel, and they're all saying the same thing? Have you seen those videos?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, boy,
It's all-
that'll,
it's
Yeah,
all-
tell me
all
that's not
script.
talking points.
that'll scare you. It's
And-
not only talking points, it's the whole statement. It's written out for you.
It's a script.
And then, you know, they lied to us about the vaccine. They lied to us about the virus. Then they lied to us about the vaccine. And then they lied to us. And it wasn't just the lying to me. I'm used to being lied to. I'm a grown ass man. I know y'all aren't going to tell me the truth all the time. That's okay. It's up to me to figure out. You know, I feel for the people who aren't smart enough to figure out the truth from a lie. But I'm okay with that. What I was not okay with, and still am not okay with to this day, is making me feel less than because I question it. You know, the dregs of society. That's
Yeah.
what they called anyone who didn't immediately go out and get a vaccine. People are dying because of you, they said.
Right.
I lost my daddy to COVID, and it wasn't because of me, I promise you. It was the shaming and Rachel Maddow, how she can show her ugly ass face on television to this day with her horse ass face and sit there with a straight horse ass face and look at the American people after she's the one.
Tell us how you really feel.
Well, I don't want to because it might get ugly, like her face. And but after she looked at the American people and said, "If you get the virus, you get the injection, the virus will stop." And how much easier can it be, people? And you know, and then of course you remember the whole thing about, well, now for some of you whites in the South, you won't get it still.
In fact, I did have sexual relations with.
You know, it was just like the shaming.
I was, yeah.
And
So who are they? You said they lied to us.
Whoever they are.
Well, who is
the
they?
swamp? The people in control of the swamp. How about that?
Well, and the sheep too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they followed. Yeah,
You know,
they just followed along.
it's like the old saying: the lion has never once concerned himself what the sheep feel like.
No.
The lion's never cared what the gazelle feels.
No,
Well, people didn't understand questioning things doesn't take away from people
The validity,
dying
right.
or people being sick. But I mean, how long's the flu been around? And how many people have died from the flu every year?
Every year.
You know, and other pneumonia. You know, all those things
Heart disease,
have been
cancer.
around. Have been around
High cholesterol?
for years.
Yeah.
Sickle cell?
Yeah.
I mean, just start naming them, you know?
Questioning does not take away from, yes, a lot of people died. But however, did we go about it the right way? Now, you know, I can't say I would have done it the right way because I don't know.
No, I
But-
probably wouldn't have either.
But you, as a American, you're supposed to question it. our leaders are telling us.
Yeah.
Okay. You're
Well, there's the first problem. You're trying to be an American. They want you to be a global citizen.
right.
There you go.
Right, just
Does
number on
anyone
chalkboard.
remember after the election, but prior to his inauguration, President-elect Barack Obama going to Germany and saying, "Hey, I'm not here as the president-elect of America. I'm here as a citizen of the world." And I was like, I don't like that. I don't like the sound of that.
Yeah.
Because listen, when we elect you as our leader, from that moment forward, you're our leader. To help with the world, we got some messages the other day. I just hadn't used any of them. I really got hammered in some of them. And they're like, "You said there was a golfer who was talking smack about Tiger Woods, but your words were, but he's a foreigner, so I don't care what he says." I don't.
Yeah.
I don't care what a foreign golfer thinks of Tiger Woods. And, am I supposed to feel bad that I don't care what a foreign golfer thinks of Tiger Woods because he's a foreigner? Incidentally, I don't care what Bubba Watson thinks of Tiger Woods. I don't care what Phil Mickelson thinks of Tiger Woods. It doesn't matter to me.
That's their opinion.
I either like Tiger or I don't.
That's their opinion.
Exactly.
And it doesn't just apply to Tiger. It's just
right. It's
just
about anything.
Everything, yeah.
But why you think you're important enough that your opinion should be the one that's being heard over and over again is because you were saying some outlandish things and you're enjoying a little 15 minutes of fame, because I'm going to promise you that guy, whoever he was, I don't even remember his name now, I'd never heard of him before then.
Okay.
And I follow golf.
Yeah.
He had his 15 minutes. Congratulations.
We don't listen anymore to each other.
No, we sure
don't.
don't.
There was, there's been some people that tried it and, they got shot and are shouted down. There's a lot of people that get shouted down. And anything that goes on at a campus, no matter what your position is, if you're trying to talk or espouse your position, and it disagrees with someone else, they want to shout you down. And either way, I think.
Yeah. Well,
and so we don't converse anymore.
Well, and when you ask people, you're like, "Hey, what's wrong with the free exchange of ideas?" That's how racism gets spread. No, it's not. Well, just look at Hitler.
No.
You can't look at Hitler. First of all, they're foreigners.
But he wasn't for the free exchange of ideas.
No.
It's for the forced exchange of ideas.
Right. And, it goes back. The free exchange of ideas is how you learn. So, like when my 6-year-old looks at me and tells me how something works, and it's totally not how it works, do I just let him believe that? Or do I explain to him, "No, son, that's not how it works"?
Yeah.
Well, when I turn the knob on, the elves let the water out. No, there's no elves. It doesn't happen that way. I don't want him thinking there's elves living in the faucet.
Yeah.
I don't want to be 13 years old and thinking, "Oh no, we have to change the faucet. Did the elves die?" I don't want that. I want him to understand how water faucets work. That's why you end up with kids who eat freaking Tide Pods. Because they don't understand chemistry.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's take a break.
Let's take a break.
I've got plenty to gripe about beyond that. So we're going to take a break. We'll be back with more of Off the Back Porch right after this.
Experience, courage, common sense. All of these are traits we want in any elected position, but especially in the man we will pick as our next sheriff. Michael Fife hasn't just been in law enforcement for 30 plus years. He's the one who answers the call in the middle of the night, putting himself last and Union County first, looking folks in the eye, doing what's right, standing up for all of us. Vote for Michael Fife for Union County Sheriff.
For longer than most of us can remember, Timber Lane Meat Market has been a staple of our community, where quality meats and friendly faces come standard. From everyday dinners to weekend cookouts, make it fresh, make it local, make it Timber Lane. Be sure to check out the daily lunch specials and like us on Facebook. Timber Lane Meat Market, 1336 West Hillsboro in El Dorado. Proud to be part of South Arkansas, and even more proud to be displayed on your table.
Everybody loves a parade, and Hilarious Pizza throws parades all week long. Bring the family in for your favorites, or explore the variety that Hilarious Pizza offers. Come join us at Hilarious Pizza for the greatest parade ever.
Country Village Sporting Goods has a little bit of everything you need to get you to the water, the woods, or to the camp. Coming soon, a new shipment of creek boats. Every year we sell out fast. Get yours ordered today. It seems like we're always unboxing the latest and greatest in lures and tackle. Come check out new colors, new styles, and the latest technology making rods lighter and reels easier to cast. Cruise through our vast selection of camo clothing, coveralls, overalls, boots, outerwear, and more. All at Country Village Sporting Goods, 965 Smackover Highway in El Dorado.
Hey, welcome back for more of Off the Back Porch with Sandy and Boomer. And Boomer, want to say a big shout out to a couple of our newest sponsors, including our friends at Smackover Motors we talked about, and on the bypass in Smackover. And of course, whether it's new vehicle, used vehicle, or fleet accounts, Smackover Motors, one-stop shop.
Yep.
Stop in and see our buddies over at Smackover Motors. And service. There's a big one at Smackover Motors. You know, I have a person that I know that they have a Ford, and they were having an issue with a check engine light would come on. But when it would come on, they had it checked, and it said, "Oh, cylinder number 6 had a misfire." And so I changed all their spark plugs. It's great for a couple weeks, and then little light comes back on, goes off. They have it checked, cylinder 6. I said, well, okay, I'll change the coils now. And you know, instead of because we just changed the spark plugs. Changed all the coils. It was not cheap. A couple weeks is great. It starts coming on again. Anyway, the service team at Smackover Motors, after this person was telling them what it was doing and then gave them some other details, it's normally when I do this or I do that, and they're like, hang on. And he goes out there with the vehicle running and gets up there with a flashlight, and he finds a little crack in either an intake or an exhaust. And that's the issue. So we have to change out that. Changed it out, been fine ever since. But you know, you have to be smart. You can't just, you know, the days of just taking it and pulling up under a shade tree, those days really don't exist much anymore, other than, you know, minimal maintenance type stuff. Again, I change the spark plugs, I change the coils, but I'm just throwing parts at it. I'm not really fixing anything. And so you need someone who is certified, someone who's a Ford master technician, and they've got those at Smackover Motors. Also, a big shout out to our friends at All About Flowers. Rexanne and the crew. You know, it's the only place I've ever bought flowers here in town is from Rexanne. And the biggest reason is because I've never had a reason not to. From the first time I ever started using her till this moment, I've never had an order that was wrong. I've never had one where I was disappointed. You know, my mom will send me pictures of stuff that I will send her, like send her flowers for her birthday, and it's always like it exceeds my expectations. Now, I get it. Rexanne didn't make those here and then drive them to Houston, right? Yeah. But she knows who to deal with on a global basis of who's really going to do good work. And that's just, you know, when you send... I had a business colleague whose dad had passed away. I sent flowers to that man's dad's funeral, and he sent me a picture of him. He's like, man, I don't know what you spent on these, but it was way too much. Thank you, but you shouldn't have. Well, I didn't spend that much, but it sure looked like it. And he was right, because I could see the other flowers in the photo, and nothing compared to this one. And that's because Rexanne knows who to talk to.
Rexanne does the big things, too. You know, because of catering, we see a lot of events that Rexanne caters, and there's been some elaborate stuff that has gone on that we've seen. There was a huge one at First Financial, Mad. Whoo, man, she did some work there, brother.
Yeah, and so I've always been impressed with Rexanne and our friends at All About Flowers. So, and then of course also our friends at Murphy Petard Jewelers. And what they've got going on over there. And it's just had a long conversation with Toddy and Amanda a couple weeks ago, and just, man, listening to them talk. And Amanda's actually going to come on the podcast here in a few weeks and talk about some stuff with us as well. But jewelry is one of those things that you really, unless you know, you don't know if you're buying crap or you're buying something that's really something worth having or maybe even passing down. But she's going to tell us kind of what to look for. And, you know, so for example, a lot of people don't know what is the difference between 10 karat gold and 14 karat gold, or 10 karat,
4 carats.
4 carats. Yeah. Or, you know, 10 and 18 karat, and what, you know,
8.
8 carats. And it's simple math, Sandy. Come on. But again, thanks to our sponsors and our friends for being here with us. And speaking of being here with us is our special guest. And man, Lance, we're just so glad to have you here, first of all. And thank you for coming on such short notice. And let's back up a minute and let's talk about, you announced last year that you had intended to run for city council.
Yep.
And you live in Ward 2, and we found out there was going to be a vacancy on the board, that Vance Williamson was not going to run for re-election, and then has since resigned from his seat. But you announced for that seat. Why? Have you been to a city council? Have you seen how they talk to them up there?
Well, that's kind of why. I really just, when I moved back here, and I think I've been back since 2013, I believe. That sounds right, somewhere in there. And I've just kind of seen how things have gone, right? And I've worked alongside many people, average people. And the average people always are the ones struggling. They're always the ones that feel like nothing matters, that nothing they say matters, nothing they do matters. And that's
a lonely feeling, by the way.
Right. And, I was there. Yeah. I think everybody in their life has been at that point, right? And so we're moving along here, and I heard about, I was just going to run anyway. Honestly, I didn't even know there was a vacancy coming up. I just said, hey, I've complained about it long enough. Let's do something about it.
Yeah.
I'm not retired. I don't have a ton of, just time, but I work with the everyday person. I resonate with a lot of the everyday people. I know a ton of people that, that need help or encouragement, really. And that's another thing I like is getting young people, encouraging young people to start stepping up and start stepping in. And, because I hear plenty of people complain about it, but you have to do something about it.
Sure. Yeah.
And whether that's just voting in general, just getting out and voting.
Yeah.
And so I figured, hey, let's give this a shot. Why not?
Sure.
And so it really just kind of came on a whim. And I just really got tired of kind of seeing certain people do certain things, and it just kind of getting pushed to the wayside, Yeah. And
when does the election come up?
So that'll be in November.
Yeah,
will be the general election.
But they're going to have someone fill his position till then.
Yes, matter of fact, I'll be putting in a resume for that as well.
All right,
which they'll vote on.
The city council will vote on that.
Yeah, the city council will vote on that. Anybody can apply that lives in Ward 2. Mm-hmm. And I encourage everybody that wants to have a voice to it. I'm not saying, hey, I'm doing this, nobody else. Because if somebody else can get in and experience it as well, then maybe in the future they decide to run, or if they move to a different ward.
No, you're good. Come on through. You're not bothering us.
They decide to run.
Sure.
Anything that we can get younger people, younger generations to start stepping up and helping out this city, because we are the ones that are going to have to continue to live here and continue to grow. And that was the biggest thing, is just figure out.
If we're going to grow, it's going to take you. It's going to take your generation.
Right. Yeah. And we got to figure out where more money's going, and we got to do our best to have a safer community. That's a big thing. It's always a hard thing, no matter where you live.
Yeah.
You see it. It's hard the police officers have a hard time because they've been scrutinized so much over the years. And then you have the public who has trust issues because of, because there's bad apples everywhere, whether it's in policing or general public, and everything's so publicized now. Mm-hmm. So if you see one thing, well, it becomes, everybody in this group is just like this, or everybody, and so things like that. And like you said earlier, we don't listen to each other anymore.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's something else we need to do. We need to listen to each other, whether we're on the same side of.
But especially if you're on opposite sides.
Right. Especially if you're on opposite sides. Mm-hmm. Just have a nice civil conversation. And it can be hard because you can get heated. Somebody can say something, and we've seen it here in the local meetings of people getting heated. But you have to keep it level-headed as much as you can. If you're running for public office, you have to be able to take scrutiny. Mm-hmm. You have to be able to take criticism.
If you can't, you shouldn't run for public office.
Exactly. And I feel like sometimes, we see a lot of defensive positions, a lot of, kind of take it personal positions, but this is what the people voted you here for, and you have to be able to take the questions, give the answers the best you can. Mm-hmm. And
sometimes that answer is, I don't know.
Right. And that's okay.
That's right.
At least let them know that you're trying and that you're listening.
Yes.
That's the main thing is that I hear from is,
look, there's gotcha people out there that
right.
Their whole shtick is to play the gotcha game. Mm-hmm. And they'll use half-truths and implications and innuendos and, to try to make something look like it's not really what it is. But there's enough smoke there that they're trying to build a fire. And mm-hmm. listen, you can't concern yourself with them.
Right.
You can't concern yourself with those people. What you have to do is, now, look, there's a reason that we want transparency. Because for a lot of years, deals were being done before they ever got in the meeting room. Mm-hmm. That's wrong. As a member of the media, I am a staunch advocate of the Freedom of Information Act
right.
and the Sunshine Laws.
Right.
And you shouldn't have 3 or 4 council members
eating lunch together,
meeting up somewhere and discussing. When Frank Hash first won the seat of mayor the first time, the first thing he said in his acceptance speech was, "And we're going to have a retreat where it's just me and the council." I was like, "No, you're not. No, you're not. Mm-mm. You can't do that."
Nope.
And of course, now Frank was a colonel. And so Frank's used to, because I said so.
I say it, you listen.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to explain in plain terms to him that this is not the Air Force. You don't just say so. This is public service. Mm-hmm. And in public service, you can't have secret meetings with the city council. Sorry. Not sorry. And a lot of that has gone on.
We've got to understand, too, that Lance is running for Ward 2. Mm-hmm. So his obligation is to the city, but also
mainly to Ward 2
constituents,
right.
Ward 2,
right?
And so is the other guy. Wherever they're from, whichever ward they're from, this doesn't help my people in my ward. It's only helping your people in your ward, or vice versa. So, and then there are some that we've got to be able to look at the big picture. The things that Sandy was talking about before, that we've got to be able to attract the Lance Greers back to El Dorado.
Yes.
We've got to be able to have our corporations attract people.
Be able to recruit
right.
to our area because of the amenities we have. And, that's the bigger picture.
And again, a huge one, and it took 0 public dollars, Mystic Creek. That's a huge amenity. Mm-hmm. And it's a huge benefit to a town like El Dorado to have a facility like Mystic Creek available. And it's not available to everybody. Well, it is. Now, it's not cheap. There's a difference between being available and being cheap.
And I'm going to tell you, all you have to do is most any day, mostly on Fridays and Saturdays, go to a restaurant close to Mystic on that side of town. And you will see guys coming in 4 and 5 at a time that have played around a golf at Mystic.
They have on polos and golf caps.
And you can, if you've lived here most of your life for 30 years like I have, or 20-something years like pushing 30, you've seen most everybody in town. You can tell these guys aren't from here. They're from Shreveport or Baton Rouge and people from all over the country are coming just to play.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. Mystic has now fallen into that tour, if you will.
Yeah.
So I have
kind of like the Trent Jones or the one we used to do in Florida.
Exactly. So you have people who I have friends who live in different parts of the nation who's like, man, I'm going to be in El Dorado. I'm coming through. We're going to play Diamond Head in Hot Springs, and then we're going to come down and we're going to play Mystic, and then we're going to Frenchman's Bend, and then we're going down to the one
in Lafayette.
there at the bottom of Toledo Bend Lake. I can't remember the name of it.
Oh,
but,
yeah. I don't remember.
We're going to go there. And, then we're going to make our way back across. We're going to go to Alabama. And we're going to play 2 or 3 courses there. And then we're going to make our way back. And, like I said, we've done that. I mean, 17 years ago, as a matter of fact, it's the first time I ever did it. But we show up, we played Bear Den.
Craft Farms.
2
of them.
Yeah, there's 2 courses there. We played 36 holes.
Peninsula.
And played Peninsula and a couple of others. And, and then they talked me into playing this par 3 course in the middle of this apartment or condos. Because a couple of the guys were property owners in those condos. So we go over there, and, some holes were 60 yards, par 3. Yeah. And you think you'd be able to score. No, you can't score on those holes.
Well, it's not an easy par 3.
No, not at all.
I played a nighttime par 3 in Midland, Texas.
Is that right?
Years ago. And, I mean, it's like bigger than street lights, but there's a height to them. So you'd hit your ball. And, brother, if you shanked it or you hooked it or you sliced it, you wasn't going to see it.
Yeah.
If you hit it straight, you could look it straight, and then it'd come back in the lights again. But, man, that was a fun course.
Be careful not to hit an oil well out there.
Daddy lived in Odessa for a while, and I went to Odessa to play with him. And you're hitting blind in this one tee box because you're hitting uphill, and you're going to clear the hill, and you just hope that it's straight because you can't see it after you top the hill. And so we hit, and I pretty much thought it was straight, and Daddy said, now it leaks a little left after you top the hill, just depending on where you landed. And so we get up there and we're looking, and I was like, oh, I see it. So I pulled the cart down there, and I'm about to jump out. Daddy said, whoa, what are you doing?
Rattlesnakes?
I said, I'm about to get my golf ball. He said, look right there. There's a big old rattlesnake just laid up there looking at me. Wasn't rattling or anything,
He was fun. He was having fun.
And then a couple holes later, we top a hill and run over one that's just stretched out there, sunning. There's right over the top of it, and it just crawled off like nothing happened,
And I've heard that at Mystic. I've heard people say that if you shank it over there in the woods, there's some
copper-headed rattle moccasins.
Rattle moccasins, yeah. What kind of snake was it? Daddy said, "Oh, it's one of them bad ones."
Bad ones. So Tom Mangum and the whole group of us were down there in Alabama playing, and I don't remember if we were Peninsula or where we were, but Tom hit one off in some brush, and he went walking off in there to get it. He come running out of there. He said, "They can have that ball."
There's a panther back there.
Old copper-headed rattle moccasin was rolled up against it. Now, you think that's great, right? He's being smart. Tell me why a couple years later, he and I were playing at the El Dorado Golf and Country Club, and on them, what was number 16, I hit a ball to the right. Imagine that. And we get over there, and there's my ball, and there's a snake about this long laid right next to my ball.
Up to it?
No, he's stretched out next to my ball. And I'm just sitting there looking at it, and Mangum was driving the cart, and he said, "What are you doing? You got to hit it where it lays, and you're on the clock."
No, and you're on the clock. No, I'm not.
Yeah. I was like,
I quit.
I'm not.
Give me a 7.
So Tom gets off with a golf club, and he picks that snake up and walks it over and puts it in some bushes and lets it go on. It's a king snake.
Oh yeah, black. It was all black.
Yeah. But still,
it's a snake.
It's a snake.
It's a snake. Yeah.
I'm not jumping out there.
No, it's one of them. There's no such thing as a good snake.
I've never seen one.
Yeah, not since Genesis.
So, but on that same trip down on the Gulf Coast of Alabama, we were at Peninsula, and I hit a ball, and it was a terrible shot. It got about this high off the ground for about 100 yards, hits the ground, and rolls off into this bunker. And I looked at Mangum. I said, "I don't even deserve to ride. I'm just going to walk." And he's like, "Okay." So I'm walking down there, and I hear him hit, and I'm about to jump off in this sand pit, and I hear, hey. And I turn around like, "What?" He said, I said, "Yeah, I see it. Look." So I walk back down to the end of the sand trap and look, and there's a ledge. And right under that ledge is about a 14-foot alligator just laid up under there. Yeah. And there wouldn't have been nothing but a story to tell after that. They'd be like, "Sandy jumped off in there, and now he gone, baby." That's what happens.
He grounded his club, and that alligator got him.
That alligator performed a penalty. So,
what was the one we played that had the apple in the big barrel?
That's the first one, Kiva Dunes.
Kiva Dunes.
Yeah. That still is
we
one
used
of the funniest.
To go in, Tom Mangum and John Dews had planes.
Buddy Hall.
I'm talking about the guys that had planes.
Oh, planes,
Mangum had a plane that would haul a lot of weight. Mm-hmm. So we'd put all our clubs in there plus a couple of guys. And then Dews, you'd fly 4 or 5 people. and we'd fly down there. So it's always good to have buddies that have planes.
Well, what happened when I went was Jimmy Howard and I carried all the clubs
in a Suburban. Or something?
In a Suburban. We carried all the clubs with us, and a whole bunch of the guys flew. And but yeah, we get there, and at Kiva Dunes, the starting marshal, just a crotchety old bastard.
Coot.
I mean, just crotchety. I don't know why he was even out there. He didn't like people, evidently, but he's out there. And what happens is you pull up, and every hole had a barrel with apples, and it was kind of their thing.
Iced down apples.
That's right. And so I'd heard about this guy. I'd never seen him before, but I heard about him. So I had it ready. And I'm in the cart with John Dews. And John, president of a bank, he looks the part. Nice hair, very well kept. And so this old man plops down in our cart, and he's getting our GPS set up. And he's like, that's your GPS. Don't F with it. Get you an apple and have a good round.
Get your apple and tee off.
And
he was the starter.
I looked at John Dews and said, Pastor, did you catch that? That's the GPS. And this guy was like, and we laughed about that right up until about the third hole when we started getting Jimmy Dews lap dances. But that's a whole other story that I promise to never tell. So with the beer winch, and she just looked at Jimmy and said, "Your friends like you a lot." Well, Lance, we'll talk here in a minute about your latest venture as well. But I got some letters that I wanted to read to us, Boomer.
Oh no!
Yeah, dear Sandy and Boomer, seeing that y'all are Gen X, I have to ask: are y'all okay? I mean, really, y'all good? Willow in El Dorado. First of all, Willow, Boomer's not Gen X. He's Jen Jones.
And I was named Boomer because I'm a boomer. Before they had Jen Jones.
But yeah, we're good. I mean, we have instant television and prescriptions. We're good. I mean, most of us, our children are grown or close to being grown. Our parents have either passed or they're too old to threaten to kill us anymore. We didn't have anti-bullying campaigns when I was a kid because our parents were our bullies. And
you let that boy hit you?
God forbid.
What did you do?
If you really got hurt and needed to go to the hospital, they were pissed.
Yeah, because
you need to go to the hospital
because you had major medical back then. You didn't have all that stuff.
Right.
If you broke a leg or you needed an appendix removed, they might take you to the hospital.
Our parents would leave us places. And there was no cell phones. You couldn't get in touch with them. So you either had to start walking towards home or hope they were watching TV at 10 o'clock when a commercial would come on reminding them they have children. And do you know where they are?
Do you know where your children are?
The school would take pictures of us and our fingerprints to make little kidnap kits because they didn't trust our parents to know details about us like our height, weight, hair color, eye color.
What we had on that day.
Our name, our birthday. Matter of fact, you can't be Gen X if your parent has celebrated every one of your birthdays.
Yeah.
Because at Gen X, you've had at least one parent, one time, who didn't remember your birthday.
What is Lance? Are you mid-30s? Is that what you are?
He would be a millennial.
Yeah, it'd be a millennial.
He'd be a millennial. They also didn't trust our parents to not let us get kidnapped, incidentally. But yeah, we're good. I mean, we were born before Google. We pooped for 30 years without something to read on a phone. And, we're all right. We're all right. And nobody had to tell us not to eat Tide Pods.
Yep.
So yeah, we're good. Dear Sandy and Boomer, I had to include this one because I can picture this person.
Okay.
All right. Dear Sandy and Boomer, my daughter saw her best friend's 15-year-old brother using a vape pen at school. She is very upset. So the question is, should we approach the parents first or go straight to the principal? Allie from Junction City. Allie, which camera's hot, JW, by the way? Allie, I want to be very clear on this. Snitches get stitches. How about minding your business?
None of your business.
That's there was a time where people would say, "Don't get involved. That's their family. Don't get involved." We could go back to that. Now, I'm not saying it's okay for dads to beat kids and beat wives.
Yeah.
But we could stand a little minding your own business.
Anything below that.
We could stand a little people minding their own business, Allie. I don't think your daughter seeing a 15-year-old vape is going to be earth-shattering to most people.
We're lucky he's not smoking weed.
Well, I mean, I remember back in the day, you see guys smoke cigarettes in the bathroom. You just walk, go to the bathroom, go on to class,
Yeah, I mean, dear Sandy and Boomer, my 20-year-old son says the problem with our generation, Gen X, is we don't know how to adapt to technology. I know what I think, but what say you, Jeannie and Spring Hill?
Adapt to what?
Technology.
That they don't know how? Or
That we don't know how.
I think they have a better way of, they're able to navigate easier than I can, but I don't know if they have a better grasp on it or not.
Hear me out. Vinyl to 8-track to cassettes to CDs to Napster to iTunes to streaming.
We've seen all that.
Rabbit ears to aerial to satellite or cable to Betamax to VHS to laser discs to DVDs to streaming. We adapt just fine.
Yeah, we adapted to all that.
Matter of fact, we've been the beta tester since 1978. Last time I could tell.
Yeah, we were beta
testing. We've been checking it out for a long time.
And got one of all those.
Yes.
I still have a VCR in the upstairs in my closet.
Heck.
Now, I keep the DVD because there are some things that I still have on DVD that are, I'm a weird guy.
Some of those Wildcat football games. I still got those on DVD.
I have all these dog videos that are on.
You brought me some videos for golf one time. Those were VHS.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Now I had a whole series that a guy did on End Times that was on cassette. I finally let that go. I said,
"Yeah, don't know where you'd even find a cassette player anymore." And listen,
unless you get that guy that's got the 1979 Buick LeSabre that's got a cassette player in it.
I'd be afraid to use it. Because even a good cassette player back in the day was still going to eat a cassette every now and then.
Those 8-tracks for
if
sure.
You didn't know if you had cassettes and you didn't have a pencil, you didn't understand how it worked.
Yep. Or an X-Acto knife. You had to have that too and some tape.
Yeah. Dear Sandy and Boomer, today on your podcast, you said the best phone you've ever had was a Razor. Obviously, you never owned a BlackBerry. Michelle in El Dorado. Well, Michelle, you're right.
I didn't ever own
I owned a BlackBerry, and you are absolutely right. I would throw rocks at 10 Razors for one BlackBerry.
I never had one.
I loved my BlackBerry. Yeah, it was. Blackberries were the best.
They were cutting edge too at that time.
At that time, yeah, and they couldn't keep up. Obviously, everyone else could make apps for iPhones and Androids, but in order to make one for a BlackBerry, you had to get permission from Congress and the Pope and 3 dead relatives.
And circle the moon a couple times.
Exactly.
They say if you get one now, it's one of the only phones that they can't, tap in and locate you is a BlackBerry. That's why a lot of...
Do they even sell them anymore?
I know as of a few years ago, I was looking into getting one. I don't know why, but I just hey, let's check it out.
I loved my BlackBerry.
I like how nobody can look into my phone, right?
Yeah. But when I got my BlackBerry, it was the first time I didn't have to be at my desk to read an email. I didn't have to be at my desk to answer an email. The little roller ball and the keyboard. And then when my friends brought over the first iPhones, I was like, well, where's the keyboard? Well, it's on the screen. Oh, I wouldn't like that. I remember that. I like to have my keyboard.
I still have trouble with that. These fingers.
Well, yeah, you have fat fingers like I do, and I'm thumbs, so I'm always thumbing it, and I'm always getting a W for a A and an A for a D and
So, but yes, you are absolutely right in that I did seem to have a lot of love for my BlackBerry.
Okay.
BlackBerry was much better than my Razor. I will give you that. Sandy and Boomer, I heard you say your favorite subject was history. Why is that? It happens to be mine as well, but I'm always interested when someone makes a statement like that. What is it about history you enjoy so much? Mike in Haynesville. Mike, for me, now it's not all history. I never cared for world history. I didn't care about Nebuchadnezzar's gardens because they're foreigners. This is a theme, if you hadn't noticed. No, I didn't. I really...
A personal theme.
I didn't care for world history. It just... Nothing about it influenced me or found interesting. My first love of history came in 7th grade. Of course, I was in school in Texas, and it was Texas history. And of all things, our teacher was from Detroit. But he taught Texas history in a way that I was just like on the edge of my seat every day, because he would just tell these stories, and it was like, holy cow, and that's how this happened, and this happened, and that happened, and I'm like, wow, and then I had a a history teacher in high school, Matt Loftus, he was like that. He could tell you the story and you would remember every part of it. And it was the history lesson for today. Mm-hmm. And I guess that was why good teachers.
Yeah, good teachers.
I
had a guy in college that who did it chronologically and American history and used no notes. Whoever was on the front row, he'd say, well, where did we end up yesterday? Or the last class? And he would just take off. And it was like like you said, like a story. He's just telling about what happened. And, it was kind of like when Andy was telling all the little boys about the Continental, the Minutemen and all that, and they were already almost interested in history when they went back to class. You saw that one?
Yes.
Okay. And that's the kind of teacher you want.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of guy that I had in a class in college.
Now, I did like physical science. I didn't care for biology, but I did like physical science because it was almost like magic. The first time we ever took a styrofoam cup and filled it halfway with water and put it on a Bunsen burner, and it didn't melt the cup. Now, the parts that didn't have water, it did. But the parts that didn't have water, it didn't melt. And that water just boiled in a styrofoam cup. I'm like, how?
Yeah.
But that's the magic of science. And so I guess that's kind of why I liked it as well. So that kind of stuff was just always so cool to me.
Yeah.
And so what was your favorite subject in school?
Civics.
Yeah. Well, civics and history to me go hand in hand, but yes.
Yeah, I liked civics.
Yeah, my civics teacher, my senior year, and you had to pass his class to graduate, and he always had a sign on his door that said, if you don't believe in prayer in schools, be at my classroom at test time. But he was a great civics teacher in that same way. He could just tell you this story about how we were on the gold standard, and then all of a sudden we weren't. Or he would just tell you this story about where they were, preparing for World War II, or this great story about the Watergate, or whatever it was, So my son is a civics teacher now, and they actually start the lesson. The lesson for civics starts at World War II.
Oh, okay.
Nothing about the founding fathers. Nothing about the amendments. The Constitution and the Articles of Confederation, which is what we were governed by before the Constitution. And that kind of stuff. So it's
weird.
That the world for them starts.
And something
80 years
about
ago.
Morgan City High School is that so many of the coaches taught classes.
Yes.
Yeah. And there were some civics classes that, hey, God bless them. They were a coach first, okay?
They're phoning it in.
So the civics class that I had, it wasn't a coach. So the guy was really into civics, into his class, and that's why I liked it. And then typing. I took typing 1 and 2 in high school, and some guy said, "Man, I ain't gonna be a secretary or nothing. I already know typing." And so now we have computers, and I see a guy doing this. I said, "Sorry, now you didn't take typing, did you?" He goes, "Boy, am I."
I never took a typing class 1. Let me tell you how the easiest way to learn how to type is. Buy a newspaper. Own a newspaper.
Oh, you had to teach yourself then, but did you just figure it out?
I did. I just had to.
Which fingers go where? And you knew
I just figured it out. And
so you use all your fingers? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. And I hadn't done the typing test in forever, but the last one I did was like 80-something words a minute with 2 mistakes. And
and you're but the blackest.
That'll get edited out.
Now, Martha,
That'll get edited out.
That's an old statement that you're the best.
Yeah, there's plenty of old statements that you don't use anymore nowadays.
Oh, dear Lord. Martha can do
they used to use the N-word. I'm just telling you, that's an old saying. Go get your boy. Go get your boy and bring him over here.
I don't think that refers to being a black person, though. It does? You think it does?
How could it not? Your butt's the blackest.
All right, whatever. So that's 2 things. Maybe I'll just stay at home next time, or write in what I say first.
Unless you're working in the coal mine, there's no other.
Listen, you got somebody else telling you, hey, might have been
because Martha can do like over 100.
Oh man,
and she's like flies. Mm-hmm. But she was worked for an attorney for 30-something years.
Yeah, typing up arguments and drafting those things. Mm-hmm. But at one time I even typed faster than that. But it was like But again, on a newspaper and you have a deadline, Wednesday at 7 p.m., you have to have that thing to the printer, and it's Wednesday at noon, and you still got 6 pages to fill. All of a sudden, you learn how to type fast.
Boy, you figure it out then, don't you?
Yeah, and then you still got to edit it, and then you're like, oh, man, I repeated that paragraph. I got to take that paragraph out. Now I got to figure out what to fill that space with.
Right, yeah. That was like school projects in college.
No, man.
Yeah, so,
I already wrote this.
oh, shoot. Yeah, so we've got some other letters we're going to read here in a moment, but we're not going to. We'll do that after the break. Let's do that. Let's take a break, and we'll come back with more of Off the Back Porch right after this.
Serving South Arkansas for 25 years, and all the while expanding and growing throughout the state, ProMed Ambulance is proving their motto of world-class care and hometown values. For example, their new mobile integrated healthcare communication center. This state-of-the-art facility allows communication specialists to work directly with local 911 call centers to ensure the closest medical team is always dispatched to any emergency. World-class care and hometown values. For more information and career opportunities, go to ProMedAmbulance.com.
When the long weeks, paychecks are cashed, where we gonna spend it, buddy? You ain't gotta ask. When the neon lights are kicking on, all of us are headed to a home away from home. We don't look like much, but we're pretty damn smart for some good old boys that can't pass the bar.
The brand new deli is open at Davis Farms Country Market, featuring boar's head cheese and meats. Try the turkey bacon ranch, the London broil roast beef, the club sandwich, or a fresh and crispy BLT. Check out their cranberry pecan chicken salad, not to mention fresh hot gumbo, the soup of the day, and more. Davis Farms Country Market, 4523 Junction City Highway, or call 870-639-1323.
With a name you trust, you can count on us. Glen Mechanical, plumbing, heating, and air.
For over 6 decades, Glen Mechanical has been specializing in HVAC, plumbing, and all mechanical jobs. 3 generations family-owned and operated since 1956. Glen Mechanical's business is based on relationships. They support and give back to the communities they work in. Contact them for all of your HVAC, plumbing, and mechanical needs. GlenMechanical.com.
When it comes to protecting your home or business, trust the name that's been serving South Arkansas for 3 generations, Cross Roofing and Sheet Metal. From residential roofs to large commercial projects, the experienced team at Cross delivers quality you can see and reliability you can count on. Cross Roofing and Sheet Metal, built on trust, proven by results. Call Cross Roofing today. Put a solid future over your head.
Hey, welcome back for more of Off the Back Porch with Sandy and Boomer. And Boomer, I told you we had some more letters to read, and thought these were pretty good. Dear Sandy and Boomer, when I heard y'all handing out advice, I laughed and thought, not the guys who used to give away birthday cakes in the morning. But recently I had something happen, and I don't want to ask my mom because knowing her, she'll post it on Facebook. While I don't live in South Arkansas any longer, I don't want to be embarrassed when I do come back home. So believe it or not, I guess God thought the joke was on me because I'm messaging the guys who used to give away birthday cakes for advice. FML. You know what that means? Okay. I recently started dating a guy, and everything's been really great and could actually turn into something real. My best friend, doing her job as my best friend, randomly looked him up on Instagram and found message requests from him that she had never seen before. They were in her hidden folder from a few months before he and I met. The messages weren't casual. He was clearly trying to get her attention and take her out. The weird part is he's never mentioned it. We've all hung out together, and it's just never come up. I know it was before me, and he didn't do anything wrong technically, but it still feels odd that he pursued my best friend first, and now he's with me. And he's just never said anything. Do I bring it up, let it go, or is this a red flag? Signed, don't want a player.
He is not a player.
I don't think so either.
Just let it go.
The reason he's never said anything about it in front of your or to you about your best friend, because he doesn't even remember. Let me try to explain this in a way that everyone can understand.
Women?
Guys don't care. So if he sent her some kind of come on message That's one of probably 13 he sent that night. That's called casting. You cast out to see what you can catch. You don't go out to go fishing and throw it out once, and if nothing bites, just, oh, well, I guess I'll go hungry today. And load the boat back up and go back home. You keep casting, right?
Yeah.
That's all he did. He doesn't remember. I promise you, he doesn't remember.
Because it was a message on Instagram that he had sent her, and she never opened it.
Yeah, she hadn't even ever seen it.
The friend did, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
he just moved on.
Yeah,
But
he chose you.
He chose you, and you said of yourself, you think everything's going great, so leave well enough alone.
Yeah, let it go.
She's not going to, though. I can tell you already, she's not going to. She's going to bring it up to him.
Well, the fact that she wrote us a letter, and said y'all were the guys that used to give away cakes. Yeah. So she didn't value our opinion anyway.
Yeah.
Well, hey, by the way, there used to be a lady, and God rest her soul, she's passed now, that used to call all the time and say, it's so-and-so's birthday today. It's somebody she knew. And said, okay, well, you get a cake. And she'd come get the cake.
Yeah.
Now, she'd go share it with, it was family and extended family.
Yeah, but still.
She won the cake a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm telling the girl, just let it go.
Yeah, I think so, too. Lance, you agree? I mean, just...
Yeah, I think, he's not going to remember, like you said. He just cast it out. And if you're not showing interest, then guess what? Move to the next person. And he probably didn't realize, till he saw her in person again. He was like, oh, I think.
And maybe not. Let me just be honest with you.
Yeah.
Instagram is not real life.
No.
There are people that have Instagram pictures right now. I could take you and let you see the real them and be like, ooh, hold on a minute. That's not who I thought that was at all. No, none of us did.
Well, that and,
You don't look like Janet Jackson.
Janet Jackson, if you're nasty.
It also depends on what time of the night it was and if there was any
liquor
liquor involved.
If there were
or anything like that.
Any adult libations.
Yeah.
Okay. See, that was all after me.
Yeah.
We didn't have that.
Dear Sandy and Boomer, my wife is turning 30 soon, and I really want to do something extra special for her. But she's an identical twin, and every birthday she's ever had has been shared with her sister. I'm writing you because I know that Boomer has twins. I get along great with her twin, but I don't want to have to plan and pay for a surprise for both of them. I feel like my wife deserves something that's just for her for once, but I don't know if that's possible. Am I going to have to just forget a big surprise so I can ask her how she wants to handle the celebration with her sister? Would I be stepping into sensitive territory if I planned something that broke their tradition? Signed, the third wheel.
Here's my suggestion. If their birthday is on a Wednesday, the Friday before, take your wife out to a very nice supper or whatever you plan. Do something just with her and say that to her. Said, honey, I know it's not your birthday, but I wanted to make this just about you. And if they say 30, if there's kids involved, get a babysitter for the kids and do that. And said, now we can still do something with your twin if you want to. And but I wanted this to be just special for you.
My thing is yes, she and her sister have done everything together since they came from the womb, right? Mm-hmm. And there are things that she wants to have her own identity about, I'm sure. But you can't take away the fact that they were born the same day from the same womb. Mm-hmm. That's a bond you can't take away.
Yeah, there's something different there about twins, believe me.
And so I don't think you can plan something because, for example, if she wanted her parents to be there, well, they can't be there and at her sister's party at the same time.
That's why I said, this is just me and you, and I wanted this to be special for you.
Yeah.
And then
now,
we still go to the other
If you
stuff.
want to do something that is that involves maybe some other family, that's okay too. Like I said, plan that out on a Friday or Saturday. Maybe call the twins' significant other. Make sure, when are y'all doing something? Are y'all doing something? Yeah, Friday. Okay, then y'all do y'all Saturday.
Well, that's what I'm saying is maybe reach out to the twin and say, hey, look, this is what I'm thinking. This is what I would like to do. What can we do? That way it doesn't interfere with your tradition.
With your traditional party that y'all do.
But I can still do what I'd like to do.
Yeah.
But then you get, well, why are y'all trying to do something different? Why is mom and dad?
Maybe.
Why did you invite mom and dad and not me and my husband?
Well, invite her and her husband. That's what I'm saying. I think you invite them.
It's not separate then.
But it's only celebrating her that night.
That's when you just take on a trip somewhere away.
Yeah, go on a trip.
Yeah,
There you go.
Go to Florida or Colorado.
Dear Sandy and Boomer, well, after laughing my butt off at the two of you for years, I need your help. Call it payment for all those years where I listened and participated in the stuff y'all did on the radio. My wife and I are having a disagreement. We have lived in our home for almost 2 years. We recently got to know our neighbors really well and had them over for dinner. Evidently, they were familiar with our house because the first thing they did was compliment us on the updates and changes we had made to the interior. They were friends with the family who lived here before us. We know nothing about them because we bought the house from a bank that had foreclosed on it. So we were asking if the couple still lived in South Arkansas because we had some questions about the house and would love to talk to them. They both looked at each other and then in slow motion explained to us that the couple died in our home. Now, evidently, it was carbon monoxide thing and a faulty heating system, which had to be replaced before we moved in because it couldn't pass inspection.
You think?
My wife now wants to abandon this house and get as far away as possible. Me, I realize it's not ideal, but I mean, come on. It's not like they were murdered or it was a drug house. I see no problem with staying here. We've never experienced anything you could describe as otherworldly, and I think she's overreacting. Help, I don't want to move. Signed, Casper was a friendly ghost.
Happy wife, happy life.
That's the whole thing. I agree with you. You are using logic and common sense, and I agree. Oftentimes, you cannot inject logic and common sense in arguments because there's no room for it.
Well, here's what happens. So when you think about it, the husband, he pulls out the file out of his head that's house, okay? And he opens it up and he says, they fixed that. He closes it back up and puts it back in his head. Done deal. Wife opens it up, and it's connected to emotion, it's connected to the children, it's connected to what will the neighbors think, it's connected to, are those people going to haunt us? It's all interconnected. All women's emotions and thoughts are all interconnected. Right. So we don't understand that as men. So like I said, happy wife, happy life.
Well, you understand anytime you hear something out of the ordinary in the house, it's...
From that day forward, it's going to be a hang.
From
a spook, a specter.
Yeah, a creek.
Yeah. Anything. I mean, anything.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
You're going to get tired of the questions.
Now, granted, you've been in the house 2 years and you've done a major upgrade inside.
That's hard.
You may be facing.
You're not going to recover all your money.
Not recovering your equity in that, but I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. But I say, make your wife happy.
Eventually, she's going to move. Here's what you need to understand. She is going to move.
With the children.
Yeah.
With or without you doesn't matter.
But she gets half.
And you're going to have to sell the house. And as Boomer just so aptly said, and split the proceeds with her. So y'all might as well do that now on the front end.
And stay with her. Or she'll stay with you.
Now, question, do they have to disclose what happened when they said
They don't know
bank
that for
did.
fact.
Okay.
The bank didn't, did they?
The bank may not have known for fact either.
That's not something that has to be full disclosure.
I think by law, if there's a murder,
it
has to be disclosed.
Or perhaps a suicide or...
I don't even know if suicides do, but murders I do know have to be disclosed in the sale of a home. But I think it's ironic that they died from carbon monoxide poisoning, but the heating unit wouldn't pass inspection, so it had to be replaced anyway.
Yeah. So, but you don't know. Hey, Amy and Eric had that house that had graves under the house. They found out.
I'm out on that.
Yeah, I was out on that when I found that out too.
I'm not especially scary. Okay, I don't.
Yeah, but you had that house in Houston that.
Yeah, we did have that house in Houston where it was definitely haunted.
It was colder in there than the air conditioner was turned up to or down to.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, in Texas, that's actually a blessing.
It is. Yeah. It is in a sense. You're right.
Until you find out there's false walls in the place.
There was we had the paranormal team from the University of Houston come over to the house and do their thing.
And they tinkled on the piano.
They didn't do that, but one, we didn't have a piano, but no, they had thermal stuff and my closet 67 degrees, rest of the house 75 or 80 or whatever it was. 8-10 degrees colder.
Middle of the summer.
Oh yeah, and I'm upstairs, and we didn't have an attic. It was a Cape Cod style house, so it's like roof, room.
Yeah, okay.
You know, but yet that closet was 67 degrees when the rest of the house, like I said, was 70 something.
So that's paranormal.
And
I guess
there
I'd
was
be hanging out with the ghosts at that point.
tons of stuff that happened over the years, and you know, not to glorify it all, but there were, and especially if my dad and his wife at the time, if they were fussing or fighting, crazy stuff would happen.
Yeah.
Like we would hear stuff break in the kitchen, like big glass stuff break. Go in there and there'd be nothing broken.
Oh my!
But it would stop the argument.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord!
And then
I didn't hear that part of the
yeah,
story.
there was the very real time that our vacuum cleaner took off across the floor running and was not plugged in. The cord was wrapped.
Yeah, it's time to go.
It was a Kirby vacuum.
It's time to go.
And
Devil
the
say hello.
cord is wrapped up.
I say goodbye.
That's right. I'm white, but I'm not that white.
I'm not that far.
Yeah.
But the story, evidently, we found out from a neighbor later. Man and his wife and his kids lived there, and their oldest daughter became pregnant out of wedlock, which would have been in the 70s and was very unheard of. And you know, it caused so much strain on him and his wife, they end up divorcing. And she takes the kids, which means she now has the daughter who's pregnant, and there's a granddaughter. And he would go and get his daughter and granddaughter and bring them over to the house, play and all that. And it just got to be so hard on him having to let them leave that one night after he met his wife at the Safeway parking lot down the street to exchange them back, that after they drove off, he committed suicide in that parking lot. And so we just always felt like, because my baby sister, who was tiny, you know, 2 years old at the time or whatever, she was the one who very first had interaction with whatever was there, because she was sitting there one day. I'll never forget. It was summertime. Her mom had made her a little lunch, and she had a little table and a little bitty chair, and she's sitting and she's giggling and laughing, and you know, nobody's paying her any much attention, and she's like, "Stop!" And look over there. There's nobody over there, you know. And she's like, "Stop it! That's my dinner." And she was like, "Mommy, can you tell him to leave my dinner alone?" And we're like, "Ooh." Our stairs at our house that went to the upstairs went like this, and there's a platform, and then it went up like that. You couldn't see up there if you're over here in the living room. And she used to love to get up there because it was a big enough little platform she could sit up there and she could play with dolls, and she could be in the living room with us. We don't have to worry about stepping around dolls and all that kind of stuff if you got up. She's playing, and one day she just looks up those stairs and says, "Well, hi." And we're like,
Yeah.
Devil say hello.
Yeah, I say goodbye. That's right. But to answer your question, Casper was a friendly ghost. I think you're going to have to sell.
Yeah, that's the consensus here.
Yeah. Again, happy life, happy life.
Yeah, and you know, if it's at a loss, take the loss, because, or if there's no equity to be had,
it's tax deductible. It's tax deductible. Yeah.
Well, hopefully with the upgrades, it shot enough equity in there. Just do it right now.
Yeah.
Don't wait any longer.
I love that this guy said us giving him advice was repayment for him being a faithful listener of ours.
Like we owe it to him.
Yeah, we owe it to him all those years.
For me having to listen to all that crap.
You know, man, did we ever have some great fun on those days, radio. Sending CJ out with those bumper stickers that time in the middle of traffic to put them on cars. And we had a listener come pick up one of our DJs, and they went out in the middle of traffic at an intersection on Northwest Avenue, and we would give her $10 for every one of those stickers someone would let her put on their car.
In traffic.
And there were people like honking and waving. We're like, "Come here, put one on mine, put one on mine."
When was it? I think I remember this.
That would have been, 05, 06.
Yeah, I think I remember listening to this.
Yeah.
That was back when I was back into Bigley and Lexington, listening to all that. And I drove a lot for the job I had at the time. And there was a lot of radio listening. So I always enjoyed stuff like that.
You know, it's but we had a lot of good times. You know, we did crazy stuff that I'm still not sure how we got away with, but we did. And
well, I had a guy that came to town and bought a business, and I was using his services. And he knew I was on the radio, and we went to church together. He said, now, and he would start naming skits that we did or what. He says, how do y'all get by with that? I went, well,
Not sure.
I said,
not sure we have so far.
you know. And, we stepped over the line some, and
We
people
did.
called us on it. And,
We did.
it was the innuendos that really got us in trouble. And, we were always mixing up words and using words that were the synonym of that word,
Right.
but meant something totally different.
So, for example, if you can write with your right hand or your left hand, what is that called?
Ambidextrous.
Yeah, and we'd say, he's amphibious. He can write with either hand.
Yeah.
And the members say, no,
Amphibious is where
means
you-
you can breathe underwater. No, that's anaphylactic. No. And we would just go, man,
Right, we'd do a round.
We would and we didn't even practice that stuff. We
Right.
would just chase it down as far as we could take it. Well, that's what I said. Ambidextrous.
Right.
And we had a lot of fun. And, I think the biggest thing is I grew up, and Boomer did as well, with radio being a theater of the mind.
Right.
There, and, not to get nerded out, but there's a guy, his moniker is the Wizard of Ads. And his name was Roy Williams, I think. And he wrote a book called The 7 Laws of the Advertising Universe. And rule number 3 is engage the imagination and take it where you will. For where the mind goes, the body cannot help but follow. Now, Roy Williams is not a religious guy, but I immediately, when I read that, I was like, that's scriptural. Because Jesus said, if you look upon a woman to lust after her, you've already committed adultery. Because where the mind goes, the body can't help but follow. And so that's my entire radio career. If I've ever wanted to do anything properly and correctly, I wanted to engage the mind of the listener. I didn't have a whole lot of hard and fast rules, but there were a few. For example, if you worked at my radio stations and you did a commercial and you used the words for all your blank needs, I would reject that commercial. We'd kick it out. You have to rewrite that.
Yeah.
That's crap.
Because you don't say that.
You don't talk that way.
You don't talk that in
Well,
your everyday.
Lance, for all my insurance needs,
Yeah.
I see Boomer. Does that make you feel better that I said see you
Oh yeah, sure.
It's-
But we've got sponsors that sponsor
instead
you.
of Jason Hardy at
Well,
State Farm, where I'm a customer, proudly.
There you go.
For all your needs, right?
Yeah, for all your needs.
your insurance needs.
All that gobbledygook, that fluff, those cliches that fill up commercials.
In business for over 25 years.
No one cares.
No. Family-owned business.
Conveniently located, and give their hours of operation. No. You have to create in them first the desire to go there. And then if they have that desire to go there, it doesn't matter when they're open. They'll go there.
Right.
Or if you create something that, you can say words still on a national basis. You say, we're the good hands people.
Yeah, you find a moniker or a motto like a rock.
Yeah.
Right.
Or if you see a check mark. Or if you see that symbol.
Yeah,
The 2 U's.
are like a good neighbor.
State Farm is there.
Right. The best part of waking up,
Folgers in your cup.
All about the jingles.
Yeah.
jingles too, and that was another thing. We brought in a guy in town who would do jingles, and I'm going to tell you that was the most amazing stuff because you'd have people sit down and say, "I want a James Taylor kind of sound," and
we hear that.
Here's what we do, and man, they would come up with this.
He's got the artists that it's not all one group of people. He had artists from all over the country.
over the nation. And so when Bayou Bistro, rest in peace, was a thing, I miss Bayou Bistro, by the way, but when Bayou Bistro was a thing, Todd comes in over there and he said, we like to say that we're the home of 2 great tastes. And he said, but we really accentuate our New Orleans style, and he's like, got it. And so they do a Satchmo type, I know a place with 2 great tastes, and I was blown away. Jingle Jim, and I don't know where he is. I actually tried to reach out to him a little while back just to check on him, see how he was doing, because we developed such a good friendship over the years. And but man, you find people like that who can help you image and market yourself. And to me, that's the whole thing, is you have to be able to engage the mind. And it's not just radio, but especially radio, because that's the only medium you have, right? It's just how you engage the mind. But even just, there's a reason that erectile dysfunction commercials have people sitting in a bathtub in a field. No one sits in a bathtub in a field, okay? But there's a reason that they do it. It's all about comfort and making you feel comfortable, because obviously a lot of people don't want to talk about ED, right? Now, social media has taken that totally away. I mean, social media, they'll show a cartoon drawing of a limp member.
What's that one commercial I've seen, just watching Hulu, it's that bent carrot. Have you seen that? About the Peyronie's disease?
Oh, no. I haven't.
Bent carrot.
Bent carrot.
And I'm like, I don't need a 2-minute, ad on
breaking yourself.
Peyronie's disease. It's
Peyronie,
but what they do is they put a big old bent carrot on there, and bent carrot. I mean, he
said, oh.
Next thing you know, you're sitting there watching this entire ad, like, why?
And then you go to the bathroom and you're looking at yourself in the mirror.
Well, is this really a
remembering
common
that carrot,
thing? Of course, then they always tell you how bad the medicine is for you.
Yeah.
I think I'd rather stick with the bent carrot about the end of it. So.
It's but even like I said, even video or visually, you still have to engage the mind. You still have to make that person see themselves in that position or in that in that scenario. Realtors will tell you real quick, if they're showing somebody a house and they start putting furniture in a room in their mind, you've sold that house.
Done.
Once they make it theirs, I don't like that color of the wall, but paint's cheap. And all of a sudden,
the credenza can go right here.
Yeah. Oh man, our section will fit perfect right here. And once they say that, your job now is to shut up. Just let it go.
Let them go in the mind. Yeah.
In the words of Elsa, let it go. We're going to take one more quick break, and we come back. We will talk with Lance about their newest venture, and we'll do that all right after this on Off the Back Porch.
What if I get in a fender bender?
State Farm's there with the assist.
Jersey swap?
Jersey swap.
Yeah, I like this a lot.
Oh, I'm feeling this.
I assisted with security things. Swap.
I assisted with popcorn.
Swap.
Get that jersey.
Get your corn there.
Yeah, I assisted myself by filing a claim on the State Farm app.
Swap.
In my halftime show, I had...
It's a great story.
We're done swapping. Too late, circus man.
State Farm with the assist.
32 years ago, a young Robert Rushing began his life of public service joining the El Dorado Fire Department. While saving lives during the day, Robert Rushing put himself through college and law school at night, eventually opening a law practice in 2010 to protect and serve the rights of people in South Arkansas. By the way, he was still working as a fireman at the time. And after 23 years of service, Robert Rushing answered the call again and was elected as city attorney. Today, Robert Rushing still has that desire to serve. Re-elect Robert Rushing as El Dorado City Attorney.
Bad things happen, and of course, they never happen at the right time. Maybe it's just a little bump and cosmetic damage, or it's turned into a huge insurance claim and you just don't know where to go next. That's why so many of your neighbors and friends call on Cook's Body Shop in El Dorado. From the minor to the major, Cook's Body Shop is in your corner. Need someone to help you deal with insurance? Look to Cook's. Need advice on what to do next? Look to Cook's. Need a free estimate? Look to Cook's. Bad things are going to happen, and when they do, look to Cook's.
When it comes to your family's financial future, peace of mind matters. At Harrison Financial Management, they are right here to help you plan, grow, and protect what matters most. Whether you're planning for retirement, investing wisely, or securing your family's future, they will guide you every step of the way. Harrison Financial Management, your future, their commitment.
Rated the #1 course in Arkansas by Golf Week, Mystic Creek is truly a hidden gem, complemented by a modern clubhouse, complete with panoramic views. It also features a fully stocked pro shop and Mystic Grill serving contemporary American cuisine and Southern classics. Mystic Creek promises an unforgettable experience.
Hey, welcome back for more of Off the Back Porch with Sandy and Boomer and our special guest, Lance Greer. And Lance, now we talked about your foray into politics, and what made you, when you got out of high school, what made you decide that culinary arts was the direction you wanted to go?
Well, I went to Henderson to play college ball, and thought that was kind of going to be, the way for a while. And then, one knee tear, and you got to you got to make a decision. I want to walk when I get older, or trying to, push through this. Well, I did a lot of partying and living, and then came back here, and I'd always cooked with my grandmother. Bread, pies. My grandpa and grandma had fresh blueberry trees, peach trees, chickens, everything. I mean, they had a whole wildlife out there, out in Mount Holly. And but we'd always cook fresh bread and pies, and always had to peel the potatoes for Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
that was always the
grunt work.
Yeah, the grunt work. And well, I came back here, and I was just kind of figuring out what I was going to do after Henderson. And my uncle called, who's in the Navy, and he said, "Hey, there's a culinary school up here. If you'd be interested, I know you kind of don't know what you want to do right now." He's like, "I know you like cooking. What we'll do is, hey, we'll give you a place to stay as long as you're passing. If you get accepted." So I said, "Well, why not, right?" So I applied, got in, and moved up there. Went from Arkansas to Rhode Island.
That's tough, huh?
Yeah, you talk about a
culture shock,
but also some of the two states that nobody ever
Yeah.
Arkansas, where's that?
I had one friend that's like, Rhode Island, is that in New York? And I'm like, oh boy. But
and vice versa.
Exactly.
What part of Kansas is Arkansas in?
Yeah, it's Arkansas.
And so went up there, went to culinary school. I worked for free for about a year in different restaurants, just trying to gain any kind of experience.
Yeah.
While going to school, I also lived about 40 minutes from the school, so I had to commute.
Yeah.
So I had to commute, go to class, drive back,
work at night,
do homework, and you had to stay clean shaven and uniform pressed.
Mm-hmm.
All this whole time. I still don't know how I did it. And I look back, but finished up that, and moved down to New Orleans because that's always kind of where I wanted to learn.
Yeah, I mean, if I think about food, and I'm not going to think Italy or Paris because that doesn't interest me.
Yeah,
but man, I think New Orleans.
Right. Which a good friend of mine, his family was from down there, and I remember going down there for LSU games or just family functions. Visiting, and his uncle cooking pastilla, and I remember just eating it like, oh my God, like this is where this is what I want to eat all the time. And then once you go into New Orleans and you start eating at the restaurants or even just some of the street food, you're just like, yeah. And so being able to go down there after school and I learned under an old chef who'd been down there probably 40-something years, won a couple gumbo cook-offs down there. And I said, look, I want you to teach me everything you know. He said, I will do that, but you got to be in this. I said, I'm already in debt, and I've already moved down here. So, yeah, I'm in there, And so I was able to do that. And it's really,
how long did you stay? Did he require a year or two? Or?
Well, I stayed down there about a year and a half.
Yeah.
And then that's when I got the call to come back here and work. We talked about this on election night. I worked at Fayrays.
Yeah.
So I worked there, I think, about 2 years, roughly. And kind of built that back up. Got a lot of people excited again about food in this town. And then they came and said, hey, we want to redo the country club. And I said, okay. Let's do that. And so went out there, and I was out there for about 7 years. And got kind of burnt out, after a while. You just, you just got to kind of take a break, or you got to step back and be like, is this something I really want to continue doing? And if I do, then I better step away for a little bit to get the passion back.
Yeah.
And so I've been working for Cisco for about 3 years. So I'm still in the industry, but not fully in it.
Yeah.
I don't have to deal with all the craziness that I had to deal with.
Yeah.
And then we had this opportunity come up with House of Wylie, and now we are working on that, finishing that up, getting ready.
And the new name is going to be the Refinery.
The Refinery, yes.
There's some excitement going on already about knowing that you're.
We struggled finding a name, which was crazy because we've shot out names all these years, and then we were like, all right, what's the name? And we couldn't think of it. And then we were all sitting out there at the concession stand, and the Refinery popped up, or the Refinery table, I think it was, and I was like, I like that. And then we were like, what if we just call it the Refinery? Then everybody kind of perked up. Like, yeah, we've all had family working there in the refineries.
Yeah.
There's lots of history here with refineries. And then we were like, well, let's just run that. And so, and also, this can be a play on refining food. Refining food to, I wanted to make clear that there is no kitchen in there. So this won't be a steak and seafood restaurant.
Yeah, that's what
at
I
least
was
right now.
Yeah.
But we will be providing, I think, a lot of good quality food, lunch and breakfast, but not as in like a fully cooked breakfast, just like grab and go pastries, things like that you can grab and go, for the hotel guest or just the person going to work that just wants a croissant or something like that. And,
croissant.
Right. Chocolate croissant.
Yeah.
Croissant.
Yeah.
But, no, we had the opportunity pop up and somebody to work with us on acquiring it, and we decided if not now, then it'd be kind of hard to get another deal like this.
That's great.
Yeah, we've been in renovations, and
do you have a shot at a date yet that you're looking at, or?
Well, we kind of had one, but then you always in the restaurant you always find something.
Yeah.
And so we found something, but we're getting that fixed, and probably I'm hoping about a month.
Okay.
That's a really rough timeline, but I think if what we found today was a lot better news than I think we expected. So hopefully we can get that nailed down. And
man, that's going to be great. That's exciting.
I am. I'm excited for you. That was often for my wife and I. Was often a destination for lunch. We'd both have just a few minutes and we'd run over there and meet each other and go have lunch. And some days I'm feeling, I'm hungry. I want something with some sustenance to it, And so I'm over there and they had a beef hot dog that was out of this world. And but then there's days where I'm like,
soup and a sandwich.
Bring me the potato soup and half a sandwich. And
I did that quite often.
Yeah, like I said, the BLT was one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And so, man, I'm tickled to death for you. I'm tickled to death for the city because, again, we've got someone in that age bracket who's coming in and saying, "Hey,
opening up a business.
I want to open a business." And
well, that's something I'm pretty excited about. I mean, if you look downtown right now, you're kind of seeing the new wave, I guess you could say. I mean, you look at like HelloFresh. That's a young couple running that. You got Stevie Joe's now with Haley. Hannah, who's had Southern Threads. I'm sure there's quite a few. Webster with 4 points, and then Katie with 1988.
With the 88,
so you're starting to see Justin and them with the Mercantile, the Wild Animal.
Yeah.
So you're starting to see that kind of influx of younger people moving in and trying to build it back up.
That's what we need.
And then you still got your people like Shelley who's still anchoring it down and places like that. Melissa at Barefoot. Like I said, all these are somewhat of the younger generation moving in and kind of carrying forward, a great downtown. And then you got people off downtown too, which I think is also a big deal. Is creating spaces outside of downtown. I mean, downtown's obviously a big attraction for us. But, if downtown's the only thing you got, then the city you move to is like, wait a minute, the downtown's not the whole city, right?
Yeah. We got food truck influx too. Reuben on the Crosslife parking lot. There's a new one coming in right there.
Yeah, I saw that. Which is a tie spot.
Tie spot,
which,
yeah.
You know, I'm pretty excited about.
Yeah.
And so,
you know, I mean, again, you said a whole lot about it when you said, you know, if I want to keep doing this, I got to step back, because it's one of those things that if you're not passionate about it, it will just it'll show. It'll show in your quality. It'll show in your product. But it's like, you know, I was hot and heavy on the barbecue circuit for years.
Yeah.
And then it got to where it wasn't fun anymore.
Right.
And when it quit being fun,
that's
I was like, it's time to quit.
Right. Yeah.
Because
Right.
I didn't want to do, you know.
Exactly.
I've got other stuff I can do that's not fun. I can go play golf.
Yeah.
You know.
Not that there's not fun.
Yeah, that's not fun. And I can go play golf, or I can mow yards or something. But yeah, sometimes you just have to step back and regain that passion.
Well, that and spend time with my family, you know. I mean, big shout out to my wife and my son, who dealt with me not at home a lot. And even now, I'm still not at home as much as I like to be. Well, I mean, we always find extra stuff to do, you know.
Like podcasts.
But you know, so having that anchor at home helps a lot.
Yeah, of course.
To deal with you, because you're not all, you know, you come home in bad mood or things like that, or you just don't want to. You had enough people in for a day, you know.
Sure.
And so,
Yeah,
but
I can be peopled out.
right. But us being able to get that together is awesome. We'll be able to build that up, and I think we got a couple people that are going to come help us that will really kind of round out what we're thinking. And so we're super excited. Yeah, I know. I think it was a secret for about one day, and I think somebody drove by and saw us looking at it.
Yeah. Small town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's over with.
It's done.
So we'll make a big announcement once we kind of get more all the equipment in there, and we're really kind of close, and we get our design done. So
we're so happy for you.
Well, I appreciate it.
Just
we see the passion that you got in your soul about it. So it's going to be a good venture.
And you know, I fortunately have I've been a connoisseur of his cooking on a number of occasions. And so I'm excited. And like I said, it's not a full kitchen, so we don't expect the full big chef experience. But the fact of the matter is even sometimes just taking those ingredients you have and just putting your own little touch on, which you and I talked about earlier, you know, sometimes that's all it takes. It's just that little bitty thing, you know.
And we're going to look at things, and if down the road, I think we're going to end up building a small kitchen. But even then, that's just so we can kind of expand on what we're already doing.
Yeah, right.
And we might do a specialty night here and there, you know, maybe like a steak night or some kind of pasta night. But, you know,
something the country club used to do years ago that I think a restaurant would just, they would have, so when I was on the board at the club, they'd say, hey, this month we're having a bourbon tasting. Yeah. And they'd set up a dinner, and your ticket may be $100 for that, but it would be a 4-course meal. Yeah. And then bourbon tastings in between each course. And then, you know, next month it might be tequila, and the next month it might be a vodka tasting. And they'd bring in different experts to tell you about it. Our wine tastings, you know, and they would do that. And I still think those things were full every time. I never remember one of those that weren't full.
And all that's on the table. I mean, I think one thing we thought we were going to do is charcuterie. Because, I mean, you can just see everybody sitting out on the patio with charcuterie and a glass of wine.
Yeah.
You know, and it probably won't start out as like a crazy, fancy charcuterie. Just, you know, just the simple ingredients that everybody's kind of familiar with, you know. First of all, because it's, you know, it can get pretty pricey when you start getting into like the Iberico hams, which are delicious.
Yeah.
But the ticket price is not delicious, you know.
Yeah.
If I can just, you know, having that, maybe some flatbreads, if we are able to pull that off, just some nice flatbread pizzas, and just, you know, things like that are just kind of really not just going to punch your belly.
Just a little culture with it too.
Yeah, just hang out. And, and just have a good time, a good clean atmosphere. We've completely cleaned it, completely painted it. New
That's
bar, new light. I mean, just it's completely redone.
I'm excited. I really am. I'm super excited for what y'all do and ready to see it and experience it and certainly wish y'all the best. And obviously, if there's anything at SouthArkansasNow.com that we can do, we want to be a part of it. We want to help.
Absolutely.
And we want to help push you out there and make that happen for you. So, then we got a couple things coming up in the very near future, including May 2nd, which is the Mayhaw Festival. And always a big deal.
It is.
You know, and of course, also that day, the Union County Master Gardeners will have their plant sale.
And they always have that there. And it used to be in front of Denver Thornton's office, but that's gone, obviously.
Yeah.
So, but they're right down there with it, too, and a lot of great-looking plants and trees. And so and ferns. Well, there'll be ferns there as well.
Yeah, 510 North Jackson, and again, that's on May the 2nd. And then Toddler's Tales is coming up April the 28th at 11 a.m. at Barton Library.
Okay.
And it's designed for, obviously, toddlers. It's story time. 2026 Summer Camp starts May 28th at 7 a.m. at One Heart Dojo, ElDoradoSummerCamp.com for more information. Arts and crafts, martial arts, dance, cheer, field trips, and more. And so it's a
good program.
a day long. It's all day long summer camps.
Okay.
And I happen to know a couple of the young ladies that are working there, and they're excited. They're beside themselves excited because of what they get to do with these kids, and so that's coming up as well. And of course, if you have anything coming up and you would like for us to get that information out to our audience, we would love for you to send that to us, and we'll be glad to put that on this portion of the podcast. Lance, thank you so much.
Thank y'all very much
for coming
having
in
me.
and being our guest. And again, last minute dropping it in on you like that. But we've been talking to him a while about being a guest on the podcast, and so glad to get you in here, and hopefully we get you in here between now and the election
before you in the next few months,
and see if we can get you in again and be on the podcast, talk a little bit more, maybe a little more specific about what your vision is if you get elected to the city council, and best of luck on that. That's going to do it for us and for Boomer, for our sponsors. And again, thank you to all of our many sponsors. We appreciate you so much. This is Off the Back Porch. Have a great weekend. God bless.
With a history of being the voices you trust, this is Off the Back Porch.